They're gonna come.
You can ping them regularly.
Yeah, you get the honors. Not like you do
Ping
it
you
often.
line.
Hello,
Loads
chat,
the Gungan.
and welcome to another Bunchcast. Today we're gonna. I don't know. That's a terrible intro. That actually triggers me. I'm
Bitch
now
cast?
upset. Bitchcast.
Kid is a bitch.
Fabulous. We're like painting
Kid is a
nails on
bad
stream,
bitch.
you know. And Chumpus has got like those eyelash extenders. He looked like one of those fucking. What do you call them? People that dress up as women. Fucking.
The cross
You
dress.
go, girl.
Yeah, and he's like, fabulous. Let me read your
Fabulous.
little children bedtime stories. And it's like wee woo wee woo.
Hold on, I gotta put on my horns and makeup.
I have no idea why they're
I need
so
to look
obsessed
like
with.
I need to look like the devil.
Oh my god, it looks so fucking terrible. That shit's so cringe. But yeah, so memes aside, chat, we're here to tell you about stuff and things that happened. This week was kind of a slow week, but there were some big things that happened this week. Number one, Geoff Keighley now owes Goring on stage. So the big thing is that the high guard game is a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. The player counts are dropping. It's pretty bad. They released a news though. They're trying to do something, and here's one of the announcements they did: 5v5 raid mode. Now, why in God's good name was it not in the base game? I still think the player count should be like 12v12 or something, but they're because the maps are so big. They are so.
They don't even have
big.
12 heroes, Gibbs.
They don't. So they, oh my god, it's so scuffed. It's so
And ironically, 6v6 is probably the most you can get.
probably because the game lags like a motherfucker. So 5v5 and performance patch and a new base. For our first weekend, we're excited to drop the experimental 5v5 playlist, a new base, and a bunch of performance improvements for 3v3, along with some options in the settings and menus for people to customize their game. Read the details below. So we can kind of skip to the point here. So they basically change things up. They make it so that when you die, the respawn time is longer, which Trump has pointed out to me before stream. Which basically means
right
that when you die, by the way, you have less opportunity to do stuff than you did before. Like it was, we played 2 rounds. I played 2 rounds of High Guard and I never wanted to do it again. The first round made me want to Alt F4. The second round was like when I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't just a bad game. It's rancid. 2 rounds. And I just couldn't do it anymore.
I would point out, we would get killed. They'd plant the bomb. We would have 1, maybe 2 respawns, like if you run in and die, to try to defuse it.
Yeah.
Now you're basically guaranteed to get it. You're
1.
guaranteed to get at most 1 respawn when they plant a bomb, and they only have to plant 1 bomb. The 2 generators are actually completely worthless to go for.
Yeah, just go for the main one.
You go for the center one, and you win the game.
There's really no reason, and the spawn points can be if you know the base layouts, you can literally spawn camp people.
Yep, because it sets spawns, and when you plant a bomb, it deactivates the closest spawn sometimes.
There are no safe spawn zones for players who died, by the way. At least
they can
not in any of the bases we tried.
Behind you when you spawn.
Yeah, they can all be behind you. They can literally be aiming at you.
Remember when FPS figured out safe spawns years ago?
Yeah, you usually put it on an out of bounds area behind a wall or behind something that the other team can't access. This is not a new concept, by the way. So, High Guard is one of these games that, by God, I hope to God, honestly, just like, I never want to see it again. I'll be real with you, chat. I don't want to see it again. Honestly, hope that this is the last time we have to talk about it in the gaming news. But the only reason why it's really worth noting is because it does look like the Game Awards people might have been investing in it. It's just suspicious. They boosted this game for no reason. They signal boosted the hell out of it. It didn't deserve it. There was no beta for this game. No way to test this game. No way to try this game. So there was no feedback. And so they launched their game. And of course it's going to be terrible. This is what happens when it's what we call locking yourself in a box, right? In the game development world, or where you have a box on. If you have a box on your head and you're talking inside that box, your ideas are bouncing around inside that box. And they're not bouncing off of other people. And so because you're not communicating with other people, you're not getting feedback on any of those ideas or concepts or things that you're doing. And so this game was entirely designed in a box, is what it feels like. It was a small room
Yep.
with a small group of people bouncing the same idea around the room without any external input. And the reason why you need some external input is because when you reach a stage when you're working on a game, you reach this point where you're like, okay, this is really good. I feel like this is really good. Now it's time to show. Like, and this stage is like beta. This stage is like not even beta. This is like fucking alpha. Like, feels like a solid concept here. Let's take this to somebody and let's outside this group, have them sign an NDA, have them try it. Or how do you feel? And if they go like, oh my God, this is fucking terrible. All right, what? We're way out of touch. Why is it terrible? And then you need to do some more testing. Is like, okay, is it just we grabbed a bad tester, maybe who likes RTSs, not interested in this game? Usually, by the way, you pick people who are interested in this particular genre. You don't randomly go out and grab
that sounds silly.
an
I want to
MMO
point out
player.
something, Gibbs.
What?
They
You should grab
did
mobile
kind of do
players
that.
only.
With the
They
streamers?
brought Jeff Keighley in to play the game, and he told him that it was the best thing that he's ever played, and it's gonna redefine gaming.
I feel like Jeff Keighley said that after he invested large sums of money in their project.
Probably.
Because it feels like Jeff Keighley has, like, this could be just a wild conspiracy right now, but, like, it feels like because he promoted it so hard, it feels like it kind of, like, had some
And
sort
he's
of
running
investment.
damage control for them.
Yeah, which is kind of, like, very committed. Now, here's the issue with damage control for these guys. Originally, I felt bad for Highguard. I did. I felt bad for the developers. I was like, oh, this sucks. You got your game signal boosted, and now it's been limelighted into being a shit show. And I felt bad for the developers. And then the developers started making statements that were like anti-player, like, you fuck the players, fuck them, they don't fucking matter. It's like, okay, all right, fuck you. You know what, go ahead and crash and burn. I don't really care anymore. And
All the gaming media is also
the gaming media is
basically
also running
saying-
defense for it. So it's one of these, it's a corporate game that has the backing of the games industry yet again, and it's fucking flop. It's like The Last of Us Part 2. It's like Concord. Highguard is literally just Concord 2.0. It's literally what it is. And it's not even like AstroTurf to say that. Like it's literally just the industry trying to push industry slop, because the upper echelons of the games industry are all nepotistic. They all know each other. They all are fucking buddy with each other, and they all fucking try to promote each other's slop. And they're all running defense for this Highguard game to defend another AAA slop title that is bombing. Like, there's no reason to run defense for this game. Why are games news articles and places running defense for this company? Why? After they went out and attacked their fans, or they don't have any fans, but they went out and attacked people who could have been their fans, who could have. And there's a bunch of bullshit, and then they're trying to like AstroTurf with like fake things like, oh, there's propaganda, don't believe the propaganda, it's obviously just people AstroTurfing, and the game's actually pretty good, guys.
It's just conspiracy theories that the game is doing poorly.
It's just conspiracy theories. It's got a player count of, fucking under, oh god. It's got a peak count of 14,000, it's, that was
See,
only
they
after the
just
patch.
released a major update, so some people have come back because it was well below 10 last time I looked.
Yeah,
Or
9,000.
at 10.
9,000. Yeah. So the basic thing is this game is dying. And the patch basically built up excitement again. You got this on the peak, and so people are going to try it again because of the patch. But they've already lost, how many hundreds? Like 100,000 people?
They got to almost 100,000, and then within the first day, they lost over 30,000 players.
So they've lost almost 90% of their player base. And the reality is that because of their statements and everything, about at least 50% of that player base, no matter what they do, to 60%, will never come back because of what they've done. Not because of the bad launch, because usually you have a bad launch, right? People will try your game and they get one opportunity. And if they play their game and they don't like it and they put it down, most people will not pick it up again. It's just the reality. And then if you keep doing that, like what's going to happen is people are just going to tune out. Then you go out and attack your audience. Now there's really no reason to give you another chance. People are now mad because you lashed out at them. They have less reason to play this game. And people are already moving on with their lives. And every day and every week that passes where this isn't addressed or fixed, or they don't apologize for that behavior and fire the person who said that, or that person steps down and somebody steps up who comes in with a completely different attitude, is another week that more of that percentage grows that people won't return to this game. And that's going to continue to happen until they're either gone or they change their ways. Go ahead.
Yeah. I also have a theory, because I think there was some like a good bit of internal testing. But the more I've been thinking about this, you know how movies are done where they do screenings, where they basically cookie
Focus
cutter up
groups.
they do focus groups, and it's like this scene. How does this scene react with the focus group? I think they might have done that for the mechanics of this game. How does mining feel? Okay, does mining work? What about spending money right at the shop after you mine? Oh, because they have those little outposts. I have a distinct feeling those were tested alone. Then another mechanic was tested alone,
Not even
and
the
then they just
same
threw them
player
all
base.
together.
Maybe. Because
I have a distinct feeling because like I'm thinking about when we played and like each one of these sections of the game, because it's meant to be like done in 3 parts, feels like it's meant to be its own individual thing and not part of a greater whole.
Yeah, there definitely is something, could be something to that, as anybody that understands focus groups are not a good way to extrapolate what the wider market's gonna like. You can't use it as a way to predict, and there is just so much elitism with these devs, is that they're doing everything wrong they could do in terms of marketing, in terms of game production, and
Yes.
it's just
But
it's
I'm going to
so
lean more into
frustrating.
that focus group because we can clearly see this has a lot of the corporate backing based on just the reaction of all the big media outlets, the big name people shilling it constantly. And what does corporate entertainment try to do? They try to just make everything the same. And so if focus groups are the big thing for movie production, logically we should do that for video games too.
yeah. I mean, here's the big thing, right? Like even extrapolating that, just look at the core gameplay loop of High Guard, right? High Guard, you boot up the game, you get to the main menu, you party up or you don't, you queue, right? Then you pick your character, then you pick your base, you vote in your base you want, and then you get in the game, you have like a few minutes to prepare and like close doors, and then the door for your base opens. So phase 1 of the game itself, you run around your base, you fortify section of your base. It's a bit fucking tedious and it's a bit fucking boring. Phase 2, the door of the base opens and you can go out. You run around, go gather. Literally, the most optimal thing to do is go get gems. Like, don't go fight, go get gems right away. Go get gems, then go to store and get, like, try to find a good item. And here's the problem: the stores are fucking RNG based, so oh fuck, it just won't give me a gun I'm good at. And it's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to roll with whatever blue or purple gun it gives me with as many gems as I have. Then the weapon spawns, and you have like a few minutes, and that's it. Once that sword thing spawns, then the game's pretty much like set in motion. You have to go fight for the sword, you secure the sword, or you let the enemy take the sword, and then you intercept it and you push it towards the enemy base or whatever. And then it's the siege section. The siege or raid section, as they call it. Let's use their terminology. Raid. Right? And then they attack your base. It destroys your shield. Excuse me. And then they immediately attack your base. Your fortifications matter for like the first few minutes of the engagement. For like, I mean, not the first few minutes. For the first like 2 minutes of engagement, or first like death or two, maybe, is how long the fortifications matter. And then it becomes a complete fucking Call of Duty bro match where dudes are just running all over the place. Because it no longer matters. Because like because there's no
Like I said,
stable front line in this game. It's just like it just turns into like a runaround arena shooter, and your base doesn't become any sort of advantage. Your base isn't like, oh, this is our base, we can use it. Our base is, it's a Call of Duty map, and this is the map we chose because we know it better. That's it. It has nothing to do with anything else. Like there's nothing, there's no defenses, there's no like things you can really do. You can just build the walls and fortify the walls. And there's not like traps or like turrets or nothing or NPCs that you can use. And I want to point out that the overworld with like the jewels and everything, like the jewels are boring for weapons or whatever. If they wanted to do like currency, like have you fight bosses. And honestly, I don't like the store. I'll be real with you. The store is dumb
what
unless
story Oh, store.
Yeah, unless the store sells guaranteeable items and every store shop sells the same items, it's like it's whatever item you can build whatever you want. That would be okay. But I don't like the store, and I don't like weapon tiers, because weapon tiers, all it really does is make it so that the enemies' guns are cheating, basically. That's basically what it is. You get lucky, you get a purple gun, and it's the better gun, and you get the good stats on it, and now you just slaughter the other team because you have a better gun. And it really is that simple. The other team has crappy baby guns because they just got shit out of luck. Or, stuff like
So-
that.
Here's to go back to my focus group point. Okay, so because these 3 main phases really felt like they were tested
Yeah, they don't feel like they're connected
isolated.
at all.
Because the fortified stage, this is like, okay, so let's bring in the people who play
Oh.
Siege, because like that's part of the Rainbow Six Siege. You fortify and stuff. Let's see what they think. Okay, that seems fine. Okay, now we got the Explorer. This is basically for people who play battle royales. Like you run around, get resources, and then you kill the other players. Okay, yep, that plays like a battle royale a little. The raid, and like now you're in their base, you're fighting. Okay, this is basically just like a Call of Duty map this is a search and destroy Call of Duty map.
Yeah.
It's 3 different games.
It's not only just 3 different games, it's just none of those games like synergize, do they?
They don't.
They don't
So I
feel
want to also
right.
point out here to touch on this update that they've pushed out. So they're releasing an entirely new map like right away. So this was ready to go. They just didn't release it because they wanted to have new content right
Well,
away.
maybe. This could be like they could release it and like it could be super buggy because they just shoved it out the door.
That is true. Possible. So they straight up admit here when they talk about optimization. The reason the game didn't launch with 5v5 is because the game's engine was so unoptimized. And so they released this optimization patch and they straight up say, be aware, 5 players, because we're adding more players, will make the game run worse.
Will not make the game run worse?
Will make the game run worse.
Oh,
It will not, the
okay.
optimization will not affect the 5v5.
Yeah, because this
matches.
game
It'll
is
actually run
not
worse.
like this game is not well thought out. Like the cover has 3 characters on it, but like nobody likes that. The maps are fucking huge. It does not feel like it's a 3v3 game. Also, the fact that you have like so few lives, it's like the games are over super fast, and the combat is not very satisfying. Like the only thing I could say that felt kind of okay is that the gunplay felt serviceable, in my opinion.
The gunplay was okay.
It was like the best
The
thing I
netcode
can.
wasn't.
The best thing I can say about this game is that the gunplay felt okay. But like,
Also, their quality of life improvement is to make it so you can turn off motion blur, which wasn't a thing by default. There was just a massive complaint about motion blur, so now you can toggle it on and off.
even though motion blur's not even in the game, what?
No, motion blur's in the game. It's
You
forced
just couldn't
on.
turn it off
That was a
initially.
big complaint people had.
Oh my god! I feel like
At least
Highguard's
they
gonna be a
listened
failure.
there.
It's gonna like I
So
don't.
going to the discussions, it's because if you click the scroll
Yeah.
down on that, well, actually, I meant on that update.
On the update, I was just gonna go to the base discussions.
There's a discuss people directly talking about this update. You got a couple people basically like, oh my god, amazing devs. They're listening to feedback. Look how quickly they're addressing issues. Then you have people basically saying, okay, well, what about, can you fix the queue times, please? The queues, like, because the issues we had where it just kicks you back, it seems like it's still there. Of just, you have to sit in queue. And it's 11,000 players now.
There's hardly
And it
anybody
still
on the
has the queue
servers.
system.
Yeah. Geoff, I trusted you. I don't want this to be Concord 2. I'm sorry, little guy. You're boned. You're boned. Can we get a text
And
chat
then
in
it's
game,
people-
please? Like, there's basically they don't even have it. Yeah, that's right. They don't have it. I thought they had
Yeah,
a
you
text
literally
chat,
cannot
but yeah.
communicate with your teammates unless you use VC, voice chat. We never tried it because
Third-party
probably
program-
ass.
We-
yeah,
yeah.
third-party programs.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Excited to try.
I think, honestly, though, part of the issue with that is that at this point, devs kind of expect that people are using Discord or some other equivalent program for that.
The issue is I think the
Very
damage is
possible.
already done, is the reality. Now, I will point out that the reviews are climbing up, right? That is a notable trend, though, is one thing is we got to highlight. Where's the graph? Where's the
It
graph?
should be in the
Look
top
at
there.
this photograph.
I don't-
Give it to
I don't see the
me.
graph mode. Whatever.
I don't think this graph is available yet because it's so early in release.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
ironically it actually hasn't been out long enough for that to show.
Because that graph would actually be a good indicator. But yeah, look, it's actually climbing its way upwards. Now, the only people going to be writing reviews about this now will be people who are grasping at straws. Because everybody
because
else
the
has dropped the
people-
game. So this is the natural trend. It will go to mostly positive. It will. Because everybody played this game,
people
couldn't be
got
asked,
filtered.
closed the game, and are done with it.
Yep.
Because the big thing here is like literally this.
So I'm reading some of the positive views. Some of them are literally like, ignore the
Ignore the
online
haters.
circle joke, like ignore the people lying about the game. It's people positive reviewing it because people don't like it. There's also reviews saying, hey, good on the devs for adding Value 5. It feels a lot better now. So there is some legitimate positive reviews, but there is also some
It's
positive
the
reviews that are
usual
just
cope. But the big thing
Yep.
is to move past that because that's not super interesting. The most important factor I think we can basically determine out here is that Highguard will not change the industry. Keeley lied, is the reality. And there's probably some sort of thing going on behind the scenes. Ah, you post a better chart. Good, little fuzzy buddy. Good.
Use SteamDB, it's better.
I thought I was using Steam BD, but I guess I wasn't.
No, that was Steam Sharps. It's different.
It's a third party.
SteamDB is different because it looks at
Yeah, it looks at the big
other
timeline.
stuff.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that is horrendous. That is actually horrendous. Like, oh my god, that's dead. That is DAED, right? Let's compare this real quickly with Age of Empires 2, right? I want to point this out. Age of Empires 2 has been out for how many? Now, technically, it's the definitive edition. This is true, but it's been out for years and years and years. It's also a hyper niche, or not hyper niche. Well, maybe it's old.
I would
Relatively
argue
niche.
It's
I
relatively
would
niche.
argue it is a hyper niche.
It's a game made for the Polish and the Germans.
It's really old
Okay.
RTS, right? Age of Empires 2 it has a lot of DLC that's still being produced for it, and very high quality content is being produced for it.
And updates, not just DLCs too.
Yeah, Age of Empires 2 is receiving overhauls. I recently checked it out last night. It got a naval warfare overhaul that makes naval warfare better, in my opinion. And it's got like these new story campaigns with like these new animations and really good voice acting. Like I was impressed. Because yeah, the Persian campaign was surprisingly well voice acted. But yeah, so the Age of Empires 2 Definitive is doing really well. It's got 25,000 like peak as like a count, and it often breaks the 30,000 margin, right? And that's an RTS, mind you, okay? And that's on like a day-to-day thing. Highguard, basically after the first couple days, first day or so, basically never broke 20,000 again. And in fact, is trending downwards.
4,000.
Yeah, like it barely breaks above 10. It doesn't break above 10,000 here. The news of the patch helped it get big again. But like, yeah, for a shooter should be much bigger than RTSs in general, on average, by the way. This is cataclysmic compared to an RTS. And RTSs are niches, multiplayer-wise. But Age of Empires 2 is soaring above this game. Like, actually soaring. This game is literally in the Company Heroes 3, like, player count, like, levels. Like, it's not looking so good. Actually, a little bit above him, because that 13,000, 14,000. But this is pretty bad.
This is a really serious indication of the sheer disconnect between elitist game developers and just what the paying customer wants. As you're constantly seeing this, devs that break away from this elitist mindset that's been plaguing the games industry for a very long time, especially Western games industry. Those devs that break away often print money. They have controlled budgets, well-run teams, and better leadership, while those that are connected, like Highguard is, keep in mind, while it's technically indie, they are connected with big money and big connections. They are no different in many ways than AAA.
Wait a minute.
They are not doing well.
Deadlock's not even out, is it? Or I guess they have
No,
like a
it's
beta.
Technically closed.
Oh my god, their
Technically closed,
closed
but
fucking beta has almost 100,000 people. This is the Titan I think we need to be watchful of. That's lurking. Like,
Yeah,
oh my god, that's insane. Because
I think I have access to it.
our art director Carlos has been playing this game a lot, and he's been saying a lot of nice things about Deadlock, and that it's a lot of fun. And this is, I believe, by Valve, right?
Yep, it's Valve's new
Valve's new
it's their
game.
third-person MOBA.
Third
I think
person
it's
MOBA.
what? Is
Yeah,
it 6v6?
I'm not entirely sure. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I listened to the soundtrack for it because Carlos wanted to have me give a listen. It's actually really well composed. Yeah, look at this. This isn't even fucking out, and it's literally peaked at 100,000 there. Like, it passed fucking High Guard, which was a free-to-play public game. All right, chat, it's cooked. It's done. High Guard is done. If this game is on the horizon, this game is going to suffocate High Guard, literally, or like entirely. Chappers are like, "How get beta Deadlock?" Go ahead, Fuzzy.
You need to know somebody that's in Deadlock in order to get in. I got invited, and then you invite your friends, and then those friends invite their friends, and then they, and et cetera, et cetera. That's how this exploded so much. It was actually quite organic. They did their closed beta testers, and then they started sending out invites. And when those people get invited, they get more invites to send out. And I played a decent amount of this game initially when I got a key. It is surprisingly well polished. It is a lot more fun. The characters are much more interesting. The game flow is much more interesting. Now it is closer to perhaps a MOBA, but still they're competing in this hero shooter market that Highguard is that's also trying to compete in. And it's just embarrassing at this point.
Especially considering that the industry is trying to cover for the High Guard thing. That's what makes it such a big deal. It isn't just, okay, High Guard launched. It's the entire games industry is trying to push High Guard. And then meanwhile, you have a game that the industry isn't fucking talking about at all because they don't like Valve, by the way. The games industry hates them. They genuinely do.
Unironically, they do hate them.
The AAA and the big corpos aren't a big fan of Steam's Steam's hegemony, is what we'll call it, because it's not really a monopoly, and we'll be talking about that in a second. But yeah, it's one of those things like Steam naturally is just a better platform. They're a better platform. They have better practices. They have their faults and flaws, but genuinely they're just a better thing, right? And here's a game that's grown organically, that has no PR press coverage, that is a new and up-and-coming game, that isn't even easy to get access to, because it isn't, if you have to get special, like, invites for your friends and stuff. That is very, very, like, what we call stealthy. Like, it's not very, like, fancy. High Guard, on the other hand, you know, did a massive fucking, like, thing, did a whole fucking spiely-beely on fucking, like, we're going to be free to play, you know, everybody can play, and then they went,
The newest, biggest
They also
game
had a
ever
huge.
It's
they
gonna
had the
change the games
spotlight
industry.
in the Game Awards.
a massive
free?
spotlight, basically, yeah, for free, which honestly wasn't for free because there was a cost, we just don't know about it. There was some sort of backroom deal, because this is how the industry works, by the way. There's a backroom deal that Keeley or somebody made at the awards show, and they have some sort of agreement and arrangement for this game, and that's the entire fucking reason, by the way. The actual entire reason. Like, it's all a goddamn sham, is what it is. And the Games Awards have always been that. I've been writing about that for years. They're a fucking sham. They're a fucking sham. The best game awards we usually get is like third party or like the Steam Awards or something like that, where at least they have categorical,
ironically.
they have proper categorization to a degree.
And not only that, it is literally just based off of, okay, looking at these stats in this category, this game is the winner.
People like this game because the reality is that when it comes to giving an award, right, there will only be so many things, like best soundtrack, best this, right, and then best part of the genre, best part of the racing genre, best part of the sports genre. Who is the best game? Who is the best sports game? Who is the best race car game? Who is the best milsim? Who is the best RTS? Who is the best FPS? Who is the fucking best, you know, MOBA? Who is the best MMO? Like, that's the reality. Who is the best indie? You know, shit like that. Versus their scuffed awards where it had like games from different subgenres next to each other. Where it's like, who's the best 4X? It doesn't matter because RTS, 4X, Tactics were all in the same genre. Fucking what? Fucking, oh my
They all
god.
look the same to me.
It's like, I don't know, just big dinky games. Big dinky. Jimmy donates €6 and says, like the stream, Chatfishy. So thank you for your generous donation. Thank you very
Also,
much, Jimmy. Good.
Stefan Vest donated 50 DKK.
Oh, yeah.
Soy got better than Death Stranding.
Hi, Soy Guard. Soy Guard, is that what he said?
High Guard.
Oh, okay. I thought he said Soy Guard. That's
You
Oh, you
misheard
reminded
me.
me.
that's. I mean,
The game, like,
that's pretty good name, Soy Guard. I like it.
because of fucking also because of like the prolificness of fucking gotcha games nowadays. Every time there's a Game Awards, it's like they gotta feature one or the other fucking gotcha games that are out at the time.
Yeah, but that's
So yes, best anime titties is an actual award that would be appropriate.
literally.
And also Harlot gifted a membership at the start of the stream, which are still working.
You
And I
could-
need to remind chat, there was 2 max tier bounties on Higafuga and Decompresso, and the Dono War over which art piece India will have to do is still ongoing. It is very close between Aerith X Ganondorf and Aerith Linkette.
Jimmy does send his €6 to the Linkette. Indio's doing grassroots trying to get support for his
I don't
one.
know. I didn't see it, so it didn't happen.
Fuck. Indio fighting
I
hard.
also didn't see it, so it didn't happen.
Yeah. All I see is that's a good idea. No, it could mean anything, honestly, chat, right?
I'm number 1, Jimmy. Harley gets a membership. Lands on lazy scene. But yeah, back to the high guard bullshit, right? Oh my god. I'm agitated because all right, I have to talk about this. So during the game dev meeting when we were working on our game, we were chilling and I'm like, I don't really want to play high guard. And my entire dev team's like, it's new, you should play it. You should talk about it. And they're right.
I didn't say that.
They're right. Yeah, well, we all know who it was. It was Robin.
I wasn't even
It
there.
was Robin. Well, Robin basically said that, and I'm like, I don't really want it. He's like, you should do it because it's new and you need to talk about it. It's your job. And I'm like, I don't want it to be my job. I don't
He
want
is
it.
correct.
He's
Yeah,
right.
he looks at you. You pay me, so you have to.
But I'm mad at him because I had to fucking play this piece of shit game, and I played it. It felt awful. Oh my god.
Listen, chat. Chat has a good
So
point. We
bad.
should try it again. It's better now.
Not
It's better now.
skip. It's a skip. It's a skip.
Don't you speak the black
It's
magic.
better now.
I was there when I came up with it.
It's better now. It runs worse than 5v5.
Oh, it was just
I can
bad.
mention, it's Unreal Engine 5. It's Unreal Engine. Oh my god, I'm getting the numbers mixed up. It's Unreal Engine 5, so that's at least part of the reason.
The Unreal Engine hasn't been good since like Unreal Engine 3. Unreal Engine 4 was like okay, but Unreal Engine 3 was good. Unreal Engine 2 and 1 were good. Like it's sort of like never break the trilogy, right? Once you get to the third engine, it's peak. And it was. And then after it's like a downward trend. Just like Halo, right? Halo 3 peak, Halo 4 ass. Halo 5, oh.
Halo 2 multiplayer was the peak.
And just like Unreal Engine 5, just bad. Just terrible. Absolute garbage. But even, I don't know, because Valken says, I feel like the game that needed another year to get ready for launch, maybe that would have helped because then they could at least launch with 5v5 and that would have been better. But I think the core gameplay loop is bad. Like, genuinely. Like, the loop of the game isn't very fun. Like, I look at Deadlock, and I've not played Deadlock, but I've heard my art director talk about it and heard other people in our friend group talk about it. And while I don't think it's my cup of tea, I'm more interested in a game like this because, I mean, it's got to be fun, man. It's got to be fun. Like, look at these player counts. Look at this shit. This is fucking steady as shit. That's not very
Also,
volatile.
Those who have access to the game are playing the game.
Like, it must be, like, the fucking bee's goddamn knees, dudes. It's got to be
That's
fun.
not even the highest Gibbs. Look at that bottom chart. Click on the where it's closer to 2024. No. Below that chart, you see the other chart?
Bruh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, because that was when they did a bigger like access thing, and then it sloped off because they like turned it off or something. Oh yeah, they must
They
have.
probably died off slowly, and likely they were taking feedback, and then they probably. Because I'm trying to stay out of the glue also, because I'm actually excited for the game. They
This
likely
is
did
pretty low
massive
area.
updates and got people in.
And then there's been a huge spike here, and a downward trend, and then another huge spike. We're seeing the new huge spike right now. Yeah, I have been hearing lots of things here, but again, this is all happening stealthily. Whatever they're doing here, like, oh my god. And this isn't just like a slow trend either. It's like weeks and weeks and weeks. My god.
Years.
Oh yeah, years actually. 2025, 2024. Yeah, it's huge. So yeah, whatever's going on with this game, like Keeley was wrong. This game is, if you're looking for a game that's gonna maybe not necessarily redefine the games industry, like Keeley said for Highguard, which is bullshit as we know, but whatever this game is doing, it's gonna be interesting. Whatever this is, like, it's gonna be interesting, especially with that kind of like retention. Like, Jesus Christ, that's insane for a multiplayer game. And that's insane because it's like not even out. It must be gold. It has to be.
Gibbs plays it, gets his shit pushed in. I hate this game.
Usually how it goes.
And then whatever this game is, like looking at this, like, chat bros were cooked. Chat bros, it's Jover. Oh my god. It didn't even break 100,000. For a big multiplayer release with that kind of pushing, it should. If it was a single player game and this was the steady congruent numbers, that's pretty good for a single player game. But it's not. It's a big major fucking multiplayer game. Like, it doesn't even have that excuse, like, at all, by the way. So yeah, Deadlock is cooked. It just seems to be what it is. The only thing I have that's worth note, because you did mention Age of Empires, is Age of Empires has another expansion coming out for it. And it seems like they're actually doing a good job, which I wanted to highlight this because what's interesting to me is that this game is published under Microsoft, but it's the only Microsoft game that I see Microsoft has that isn't absolutely tanking. Like the previous expansion, which was the... Shut up, Microsoft. Was the Greek one. Where was it?
Alexander.
There. This did very well. It actually went down to mixed. Well, this did well. And I've actually tried the campaign that came out before this. I'm actually curious. What's going on here? The infinite unit spam in this game is disgusting. Disappointing.
What?
I don't know.
I think they're talking about the campaign.
It is a campaign they're talking about, and
okay, it's just gameplay disagreements with like certain missions. All right, never mind. It's more minor things. But either way, the big thing I wanted to highlight here is the fact that like Microsoft is not doing particularly well. The only thing that they have that's doing okay is like their Age of series, and everything they have else is not doing well. Like Halo is pretty cooked. Gears has the potential with E-Day, and like there's not a lot of good things going on in the Microsoft scene. Like, it's just genuinely loss after loss after loss. And that's why I wanted to point that out, because State of Decay 3 is supposedly on the horizon. Fable 3 is coming out this friggin' year in like 5 months' time or 4 months' time or so. I don't remember exactly, but it's coming out soon. And it's like, if Microsoft's recent track record has been only the Age of series that's doing okay, that's not a good sign. And the only reason why the Age of series is doing okay is because it's a niche, and it is a niche. That's the reason. They don't meddle that much. And because they're not meddling, that's why they're doing okay. Which means that if it's a big thing, Microsoft is meddling. They always meddle in everything. And if they're meddling, they'll be sabotaging it without even realizing it, because they have too much middle management and upper management making all these arbitrary decisions based on graphs and shit, rather than actually thinking about, is the game fun or not?
I have to head out.
Take care.
See you, Fuzz.
I would go and fizzled.
But yeah, that's how I feel about the overall situation. So it's kind of cooked, and it's worth mentioning because Microsoft is going to be pumping out some games this year. And so be skeptical when you see their logo on things, just going forward. And I will point out that even though Age of Empires 2 is doing well, because I haven't actually gotten a chance to mention this, but I did look at it. It's not been doing all perfectly well. Like the Three Kingdoms expansion they did was not particularly well received. and is kind of divisive or as a whole. So even that,
Understand says.
and that if that's their, I know, hold on. Even that, if that's their best thing, it's not going very well. And it's very much, this DLC, by the way, because I did do research, is very much appealing to the Chinese audience. And anytime they do stuff like this, it usually doesn't go over well. Go ahead.
Understand says that 3 Kingdoms DLC were the only one Microsoft is putting their grubby fingers into.
Yeah, because this is the one where it felt like there was meddling because they were trying to make it for
which-
China.
I'm trying to remember which factions did they add. I think the Wei was one of them. What were the other two?
It's the other 3
sorry,
kingdoms.
Because
Liu
Liu or Cao Cao and the Sun Clan. Like 3
no,
factions.
no, because I'm talking about like factions. Because from what I remember from like some of the multiplayer stuff, it's either the Wu or the Wei. One of those is considered to be like one of the stronger. Like I'm talking like overall, like factions as well because of just how their mechanics work. Which is one of the other reasons why it's like, oh wow, you just introduced a kind of a bullshit powerful civ.
Yep. And so that's why people felt like it was very much like, oh my God, they did that purely to, placate the Chinese. So again, I wanted to highlight this because even with their best, Microsoft's best, which is this, it is this, by the way, this is Microsoft's best thing that they're doing right now. Even with this, they are missing. And if that's the case, and they are doing that here, it's good to note that because that means that for their bigger projects, this could be happening there too. We might see this with Gears E-Day. We're definitely probably going to see this with Fable 3. We'll go into it. We will be checking it out, but I have low expectations. There's a lot of red flags with Fable 3. And I think it's going to be ugly. But we'll find out firsthand. I mean, it's entirely possible.
Question.
Maybe it's a gem. You never know.
When it comes to these companies really wanting to appeal to the Chinese audience, has it ever worked?
Sorta. So actually, in one place it actually worked was this game here. Total War 3 Kingdoms actually successfully got the huge portion of the Chinese audience into the franchise. And then Creative Assembly botched it by attacking the modders. Not only did they attack the modders, but then they started like harassing some of them. And then they went fucking like going like DLC like crazy with this game. But it was actually getting better and it's pretty well received and has a pretty dedicated following. But they did have the gall to try to do Total War Warhammer thing, where they tried to split it into multiple games. And so instead of continually supporting this game and making it better, they pulled support for this to make Total War 3 Kingdoms 2. And we have not heard anything since that support was pulled like a few years ago. So I don't even know if Total War 3 Kingdoms 2 is even in the works anymore, or if it's a dead project.
I personally suspect it's dead.
I think it's dead. Which means
Probably
that
project that was
what
on the
could
back
have
burner
been
so they
good,
don't break with it.
what could have been a good Total War, which I think 3 Kingdoms had it continued to receive support, I think it could have been good. It's fun. It's not a terrible game, but it's not worth $60. It ain't worth that much. Like, and the reason why you can tell what CA does, by the way, when something's at $60 in their library, it's because it's selling really, really well. And case in point, Rome 2 has been out for well over a decade. A decade and basically 13 years it's been out. And it's still sold at full fucking retail shelf box price. $60. Attila is also not received a price reduction. It's still sold at $44.99. And Shogun 2 is like at $30. It's the only thing that got slightly reduced. Medieval 2 went up in price, actually, because they pulled the original Medieval 2. Or did they? I can't remember. They did this definitive edition thing, and it felt like everything went up. I know that was for Rome 1. Because Rome 1, you have to buy the Rome 1 remaster in order to get access to Rome 1. So you have to buy the remaster now. Which isn't good, mind you, in my opinion. Like, Pharaoh is kind of cheap. It's only $40. But that's because it's made by the B team. And yeah, like the pricing here is just really atrocious. Like Medieval 2, best Total War ever made, should be realistically like $10 because it's literally ancient. It came out in what, 2004? Okay, 2006. So it's literally 20 fucking years old and it's still being sold for $25. But kids,
Chat,
it's
in
got the
one
Kingdoms
more year-
expansion. It's like it's been around for 20 fucking years.
Medieval 2, it'll be able to drink soon, honestly. In some states, it could.
Yeah, the Total War franchise is really DLC. Okay, Indio's been interested in Total War because he wants to try the fantasy one out, which is fair because I think that would appeal to him. But yeah, the DLC for Total War Warhammer
Oh
is
my God.
nuts. By the way,
And unironically, do you want to know who I initially blame for this? Unironically, the Total War fans.
Total War fans basically enable this. Look at this. Look at this. Now I can tell you, if you actually want to get into any of these Total Wars, rule of thumb: pick a faction you're interested in, wait for a sale, pick up the factions DLC because some of these DLCs are for that faction, and then pick up the game then. And do not buy another faction unless you are like, oh, I really like the elves or some shit, you know? Then do that, right? But if you like,
And even then, they do the scummy thing where some of their units are in another faction's DLC because they're trying to get you to try out the other faction.
$406 in DLC, by the way. $406 on top of the fact that the game is $60. So it's actually $470 is what it is, plus. It's fucking nuts. They really did scam us here. And that's the sad reality. They scammed us so good, it's not even funny. And it's honestly the GW fans that are at fault here. Because I know, because when we covered this subject, you know who the people constantly fucking bootlicking every time people raised a complaint? It was the Games Workshop dudes. They were always like this. And it wasn't all of them. It was a specific group. But they would just go around and fucking shut criticism down. Like, yeah, but the tabletop, it's cost like $600,000, $7,000 for like
You're
a
actually
40-point
buying
army or
less
something.
now, and it's just like,
It's
go
like,
away.
motherfucker, you're a tourist. You're not part of the Total War fandom. Don't fucking comment on the DLC practices. Shut up and let the real men do the talking so we can actually negotiate something realistically fair for the consumer. Fucking bootlickers, I swear.
So, someone that I know,
Much for your plastic crate.
someone that I know who plays a lot, Tauber, says in chat, as someone who owns all of these, I got them as they came out because I was making more money at the time. I would not do it now.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of Total War, and even he is saying, bruh, not worth.
Yeah. Like even from a business standpoint, as a streamer, because I stream these when they came out, anytime they do these DLCs. The last one I didn't stream. I just couldn't. I just didn't care. Like I forced myself to stream almost like not all of these, but like a good chunk of these. Like I streamed a lot of them when I look at these ones that when they came out. But like my God, even from a streamer standpoint, like fuck, did it not feel worth it? Like when I think about it and I think about my enjoyment I had with this game, I don't think it was ever worth that much money. I think I got more money out of $40 Helldivers 2 than I ever did out of Total War Warhammer 3.
Well, technically, you've paid more money for Helldivers 2 than
Yes,
40.
because of the war bonds. But even so, I feel like I get more enjoyment out of Helldivers 2 than I do this. And this is coming from somebody who's a diehard strategy game enjoyer. Like, strategy games are my preferred genre. They're my favorite. One of my favorite. I love strategy games. But this, oh my God, I want to blow my brains out. It's terrible. It's terrible, Chatfish. This is terrible. This is terrible. And it's still, by the way, they still haven't fixed the siege battles. They still haven't fixed the settlement battles. Those things are still broken in the current build of the game. Last time I tried it, granted that was a month ago, I think. So maybe they released a patch, but like it's been out for fucking like a few years, like almost 4 years now, and they still haven't fixed those. They claim they're working on fixing it, but they still haven't fixed it. Oh my God. I just don't want to. I don't want to even look at it anymore. I'm done. I'm done looking at it. We're done. I'd rather talk about High Guard. I'd rather talk about High Guard. Oh my God. So next up, we are going to talk about... We'll start from the left, because I see that article there, and I want to do that one last. That one's a big one. I want to save the best juicy kernel for last. Send it out with a bang. Game over for Dark Patterns. ACM finds Epic for unfairly targeting children. What? Children are being targeted? All right, so let's read. Over the past years, the ACM has published extensive guidance on deceptive consumer practices in the digital sector, commonly called dark patterns, signaling that companies that violate its guidance will start paying a steeper price for doing so. The ACM has imposed a significant fine on Epic Games for sales practices in its Fortnite games. While this is
What a
not the
surprise.
first time the ACM has acted in the digital sphere, the decision provides valuable insight into the ACM's assessment of countdown timers and other sales tactics, particularly those directed at children. Fortnite developed Epic is a popular online multiplayer game known for its battle royale mode, which is funny because it was meant to be a tower defense game. Monetization primarily comes from microtransactions for cosmetics, items, and other add-ons in the game in-game item shop. In its May 2024 decision imposing a fine of slightly more than 1 million euros, the ACM found, okay, that's going to be a drop of water in their profits, by the way, because like it's Fortnite. The ACM found that the item shop's design exploits children's vulnerability to impulse buying and psychological triggers. My God, I can't believe it. Like fear of missing out or FOMO, which we've covered on this channel. We did a dedicated FOMO section. Isn't that funny? But yes, to reiterate for those who missed it, because it's been a while since we've actually talked about it. It's been almost like about a half a year. Last time we had covered FOMO. FOMO is the concept of fear of missing out. It's having an item on a shop for a limited amount of time. It's like, okay, this cool horse that you could buy for your knight is only available for 1 week. And if you don't buy it this 1 week, it will disappear. Now, why does this have a timer? It has a timer.
It's going to get to you to buy it.
It's a digital item, right? So there is such a thing as like FOMO things in real life that have to have timers that are like on development. It's like, yeah,
or like production runs of like a particular item. Like if it's a physical object, that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense because that's physical production. Or it's like, okay, there's something that has to be like financed or funded with an explicit time because there's a small window to get it done for financial reasons. That's fine. But the FOMO thing isn't done for those things. There's no logistics behind it. For example, I'll use ourselves to compare. We actually have a little bit of FOMO in our channel, if you actually didn't know this, chat. Sometimes we have limited time funds for pinups and stuff like that. This is true. But you can always fund those pinups later, even if they fail. The reason why we have that limited time is because we have a profit margin we have to make. And if we run out of that time, we don't get the opportunity to fund it because we'll go into the red if we do. And so these windows, and other companies have these windows too, by the way. They have to reach these certain windows to get these things funded or financed in order to get something made. Otherwise, they run out of time and resources. In this particular case, this is a digital online store. There is literally no reason for it to have a timer because there's no financial upkeep costs for having it on a digital storefront. There isn't. Like you could make the argumentation that, oh, it requires, a file space. Well, okay, fair. However, counterpoint, it's already in the game's files to begin with, as soon as you added it. So if somebody owns it, everyone's game client must have it because they need to read that information when a player's using the brown horse model so that it renders a brown horse model on your game. So technically speaking, it already is in your files, so there is no actual logistical like memory or space problem. It's really made up. It's fake scarcity. It's deceptive scarcity. And that's what they're going to talk about here. 1. Deceptive scarcity indicators. Epic used a 24-hour countdown timer, which suggested that certain items only had limited availability. Now, again, I will point out that Steam technically does this too. However, here's the difference, because I can already see people making arguments in defense of this shit for Epic. Steam's limited sale thing, or when EA does it, or when fucking GOG does it, or whoever, they run sales, and a sale is usually dictated between, again, February 1st to March 2nd, super long sale, or something like that, right? And the reason why they do that is because that's just a sale, and sale for usually old games, and it's just a percentage off and discount. And then those sales will return again, and they usually are annually, and it's usually due to festive reasons, whether it's Christmas, whether it's the Halloween or Black Friday sale, whether it's spring sale or summer sales. These sales are normal, and they're cyclical. They'll return. This particular thing is a 24-hour scarcity timer for an item that will then disappear forever. That way, it will trigger basically this thing where it's like, oh, if I don't get it now, I'll never get it ever, right? That sale I mentioned on Steam, okay, yeah, that 15% discount on Dead Space is gone, but you can still get Dead Space. It's not gone. It's still there. You can still go get it. No one's stopping you. Dead Space 2009 still currently available at the moment, last I checked. So it's still on the store page. This particular case, it's like this item's going to disappear. And then they might lie about it too. They might be like, oh, it's a limited time and then fake it out. And so that's one of the big things with Epic. And Epic takes advantage of this with their Fortnite game with all these skins because, again, who's the primary consumer of Fortnite? Kids, little children. It's a little kids game is what it really is. There are some adults who play it and adults can play it too, and that's chill. But the reality is their primary customer base is kids. And that's fine because it's a little kids game. However, the issue here is that they're being exploitative with their marketing. They're putting these big timers and things in the kids' faces because it's manipulative. And it's not just Epic that does this, by the way, but it's also mobile gaming is incredibly disgusting with this kind of behavior, where they do the same sort of strategy to be deceptive to children. And I know because I remember when my little bros were growing up with the iPad and stuff like that because they loved the iPad for gaming as a little kid. It was genuinely brain rot is what the iPads are. They're brain rot machines. Those aren't even good pieces of tech. But yeah, they would be like, oh, there's a limited thing, or like this app has this in-app purchase, and then they'd buy something on it or do something. And that's what led to the creation of child safety mechanisms by Apple to literally be like, okay, you need to type in like a password or a PIN in order to buy stuff to prevent kids from buying things because they would buy so much crap, because the entire intention of this stuff is to trick the child into spending the money of the adult for them or to pressure the adult for them.
Yeah, can I say because the child has basically no impulse control.
No impulse control. They see shiny, flashy thing. They want shiny, flashy thing. Like, great example, stores will do this you'll see this a lot. Look at when you go to your grocery store. Some of you guys might see this, but there's usually like toys or like little like doodads and knickknacks. Those doodads and knickknacks are carefully, usually strategically placed near the cereal aisles or like certain aisles
the
where
eye level of children.
Yep.
They're at the checkout almost always, and they're lower.
Yep, they're lower for them to see, and it's like got little cars, a little tank in there, a little plane, and stuff like that. It's clever. It's evil. It's evil.
Gibbs only says it's evil because it makes him want to buy it.
I want the little
Because
toy truck.
Obviously, Gibbs is canonically 3 feet tall. I mean, look at his avatar.
Shut up, Shmormoo. Also, welcome to stream, Shmormoo. He's stealthed in. I always forget my notifications are off. I'm like, where? Shmormoo? Shmormoo? But yeah. So, any thoughts, everybody, on this whole Epic thing? I mean, I think they deserve to be punished for it, in my opinion.
I think so. I'm of two minds of it because on one hand, I don't think that private industry will 100% self-regulate. On the other hand, too much government overreach destroys industries.
Yes.
So it's a very fine balancing act. But it's very clear that they do target children with almost everything they do, and that's insidious. Any corporation or government, whatever, anyone who targets children is abject evil. I'm sorry, you are. You are preying on some of the weakest people in our society.
Mm.
There should be something that stops them, but there should be something in terms of regulation that prevents them from targeting children. But their parents should also this is the problem. Parents have abdicated their responsibility too.
Yeah, they blame the company when in reality it's the parents' bad parenting.
Well, it's a failing of multiple people
necessarily. Yeah, because like the parents are at fault because they should be paying attention to what their kids are doing on their iPads or devices. The companies are also at fault because they are intentionally, like you said, doing these practices that are specifically designed to prey upon a kid's lack of impulse control. And then it's like, okay, since the companies are doing that, what is the government's responsibility in that as well?
Yep. So one thing I'm going to also highlight as an example of a corporation that does appeal to children, but is not necessarily an evil corporation. So this corporation doesn't exist anymore, but you guys remember Toys R Us, right? I think everybody does.
Yep.
Toys R Us
Bionicles
was a literal store that was entirely built and designed to appeal to children. And that was its entire purpose. Its only function was to sell toys. Toys, doodads, knickknacks, video games, anything that kids would like. pretty much. It's entire function. And I remember driving past the old abandoned Toys R Us in St. Cloud a few times. And the one thing is, I always think about that because it still has that goofy little giraffe thing. It's all faded now and cracked. But the big thing is Toys R Us's goal is that, and that's also what that store does. It's not deceptive in its marketing. It's entirely honest and upfront. It's literally for toys. They literally sell stuff for kids, and that's literally their purpose. Everything in there is made for children. There's no deceptive marketing. All the video games, the Game Boy, GBA games. I remember each shelf, and I remember each row in that building. I know that it's an empty building now, chat, but I can remember as a kid. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I can remember where everything of interest was, which aisle had the things I liked in it, which aisle had the bicycles, which aisle had the literal sports gear and stuff like that for kids. Literally, that was the place, and that was the job of that store. That's its function. And so back when that place used to exist, and for those who don't know what Toys R Us is, Toys R Us, for younger generations, was a store entirely dedicated to literal toys for kids. It was around in the 2000s, and it sort of poofed out some point in the mid-2000s, like 2005 or 2006, maybe 2008, I don't know, around that ballpark. It feels like that was when it poofed, but yeah. It was definitely an interesting thing. We went to models for bicycles. Yeah, other stores had stuff like that for different things too. But that's an example of a store that's not being deceptive in its marketing. It's being upfront. It literally is geared for children. Its entire purpose is that. And so when parents drove past it, they would choose to either go there, if their kid was well behaved, and buy them some crap from there. Some plastic crack, if you will. And so that was like the entire functionality of that place. The reason what makes this so different is that Toys R Us didn't have timers on the shelf that told you couldn't buy this basketball. You know, it's like there was no FOMO. That's what makes this concerning. FOMO is one of those things where it's like the industry really needs to self-regulate itself, but we need to pressure the industry internally. FOMO is in a practice that only makes sense if it's a limited physical thing. If it's a limited edition, like box set thing, yeah, it's because they had to do a factory run. I understand that. I can accept that. I get that. There's only so many statues printed, or, hey, we're doing a fundraiser. We have X amount of time for the stretch goal to add this thing to our game. All right, I'm not a big fan of that, but I understand it. I get it.
Oh yeah, Chatfish, if you've never had to do a limited run of a product for like a business or whatever, it's ungodly expensive if you don't have a lot of resources at your disposal. Dear God.
Yes. So I can understand that being limited because it's not the fear. It's not preying on the fact of fear of missing out. The reality is that there's only 1,000 products to sell in total. And that's it.
Yeah, because the factory will make them do a certain amount of runs. Otherwise, the factory loses money by reserving those slots.
Yep, because when you do a factory run, because I have talked with factories before, their upper management, about doing production runs of things, just out of curiosity. If I want to do a run of X units, they have to do a certain bulk order, and they only have a certain low limit that they'll produce. Like, okay, it's like 1,000 or 750 units or something, and it's based on this complexity. And they'll produce that amount of units, and then their factory will stop producing that, and then you got to figure out where to store that. And so if you can't sell all those items, you get that picture. You guys are probably familiar with it. Hold on, I will get it for you.
And like Gibbs was saying, and a couple of the co-hosts have said, Frederick also points this out. Toys R Us could not be in the child's home 24/7, telling the kids to buy it from them and telling it you'll never own this toy again if you don't buy it now. Yeah, that's the problem with like the 24/7 easy access.
You always have the temptation right around the corner.
And of course, a kid's going to want it. The kid's brain works entirely off of dopamine and serotonin. Like, they don't know anything else.
This is an example of what I'm talking about, by the way. This picture here. If you have a certain, and this is why certain companies go out of business, by the way. Great example, Dreamcast. Yep. They had to produce X amount of units to compete, even if it was niche, but they produced so many units, and they spent more money, and not enough people bought those units. And so what happens? That company goes out of business because
they have thousands upon thousands of very expensive paperweights
that nobody bought, that no one's interested in. And they are paperweights. They may have value today, but back then, when it mattered to that company, they didn't have any value then. And because they didn't have any value then, because people placed value in PlayStation 2, the GameCube, the original Xbox, The Dreamcast was fucked, was the reality. And that's what happened to the Dreamcast. That's why Sega quit the industry for consoles. They were done. This was Sega going like, yep, we're done. We're just going to be a video game publisher now.
Didn't the Dreamcast, wasn't it like the first one that had online as well?
Yes, they had a online service. Much like the PS2 and the Xbox also had online services later on. But the GameCube, if I remember right, did not. I can't remember. I don't think the GameCube had them online.
The GameCube did have a thing. I think you could get like
I think it was an adapter.
it was an
like that.
adapter.
Okay,
yeah.
so they did have some online games.
And it was only very specific games that would even make use of it.
Yeah, Nintendo was very slow to the online gaming.
Yeah, because I remember the Wii
And it
didn't
was
have
very
a
slow
lot.
for everything.
Because even the Wii didn't have a lot of online games. Like, it just had very few. Chocho's been a member for 28 months. Would you kill a sacred cow or worship it, Kibbo? Definitely kill and skin. He's like,
Yep. Not even eat it, just bury it.
Yep. Throw it in a dumpster.
Just waste the whole thing.
Yep.
It's tainted meat.
Trash.
Sniff at it, immediately bury.
But yeah, so that's, again, kind of the last note on the whole fucking physical things and limited. The reason why I want to talk about those, chat, is because, again, I could see Epic people trying to defend it. I was like, oh, but what about these things? But those are false equivalencies. Those aren't related. Those make sense for why they are the way they are. Online digital product being limited is bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. Apple did that with that stupid diamond thing, if I remember right, for iPhones or whatever, way back when. I can't remember.
Stupid diamond thing?
There was like a diamond like logo or thing or whatever, and you had to like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
To be
fake.
fair, I was also not one of those people that really cared about Apple products back in the day, so that probably also explains why I have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
only remember that because literally people at school would talk about it. That's
Yep, it was like a status icon.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't familiar with that specific thing, but I remember stuff like that
Yeah.
from that tier. Yeah.
So yeah. Next up, we have an article brought by Fuzzy Buddy, but he's sadly no longer with us. It says it's always Tim Sweeney. I bet Fuzzy looks like Tim Sweeney. In real life.
Who's greasier, Tim Sweeney or Randy
Fuzzy.
Bitchford at this point?
Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford is
Right,
engorged
you
in
say
grease.
Fuzzy.
He did.
100%
He didn't
Fuzzy.
even let me finish the
Fuzzy
option.
is from Trinity, so he is covered in grease.
Fuzzy's super greasy, guys.
You can push this red button. I press it. I
So-
didn't even. I press it again.
The Tim Sweeney and fucking Randy Pitchford are greasy because they're terrible people. Fuzzy's greasy because he's from New Jersey.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Different kind of grease.
Natural.
Natural, like he excretes it.
Wait,
Oh.
natural? He's Italian?
They bathe in it.
Disgusting.
Oh, slimy.
I mean, Squealy bathed in
Doesn't
olive
need-
oil.
He doesn't need to
I
go
know.
to buy. Yeah, he doesn't need to go to buy oil. He just scrapes it off himself and uses it for cooking.
Fuck.
So, let's see. Steam's rules do explicitly prohibit games from steering players to competing purchase methods, forcing everyone to pay 30% to Valve. Apple and Google did the same until court explicitly found this practice to be unlawful. Now they don't! ! Then readers added context. Readers' context added, district and circuit courts rejected Epic's Sherman Act claims on distribution exclusivity, mandatory IAP, and anti-steering. Epic only won on anti-steering based on the Californian state law. Steam is not a walled garden, so the anti-steering theory remedy doesn't map cleanly onto it. Again, Team Sweeney, much like, notice how we were talking about them being like weaselly with the whole fucking like
Which is
children
what
thing?
they're doing right. Yeah, which is what they're doing right here. They're leaving out specific context, which makes it. Oh, that means it's not actually a clean 1-to-1.
Yes.
So here's the thing too, also, like yes, it is slimy what they're doing, but this is what literally every company does, of like you judge shop and you legalese shop, right? You
Yeah.
craft your argument to be as beneficial to your side as possible, even if it's slimy, because that's what lawfare is.
Yep.
Now, that being said, fuck Tim Sweeney.
Yeah.
Fuck Epic.
So, as a developer, because I can talk about the 30% thing. I understand that it's a bit divisive depending on the developer. Yes, Steam takes a 30% cut of sale, right? So if my game is $20, the government and the state are going to take their cut, right? And then Steam is going to take its cut. Just like when Chatfish donate via YouTube, YouTube takes its 30% cut then the state and federal government take theirs at the end of the year for me, and they take their cut of that. And then whatever's left goes to me, right? That's how that works. Same thing applies to Steam. The issue here is that Steam offers, and so does YouTube to a degree, like to give it credit where credit is due. YouTube offers me a platform that accesses, has chat and all these things, and I can talk to you guys. And that's the reality. Most of my audience, not all of them, but 99%, literally 99% of you, like high, 99%, are on YouTube. That's where my audience is. And that's where they connect to me. And so YouTube has a service and it offers a value for that service, right? And so they technically taking the 30%, like, okay, they do show my stuff, sort of, kind of. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But yeah, that's what they do, right? Versus in Steam, what does Steam do? If I put my game on Steam, I have access to the largest store market. I also get put into categories and stuff like that, and I get a bunch of things. There are flaws with Steam's service, where if you release a game and you release it in a bad window, you will get fucked. And Steam knows about this, and Steam is, yes, they are trying to work on it. It's like Steam is trying to work on visibility for games. They're trying to make games more visible, but there are problems, right? It's not perfect. However, again, Epic has nothing. Epic has none of that. It doesn't have access to forums. There's no online support. There's no workshop API stuff. There's like nothing like integrated in the back end, hardly at all for Epic. Epic has nothing.
Didn't it take them almost a year to get a shopping cart?
Does Epic even
Well
have
over a year.
a discussions
They-
forum section
that's a
even?
recent thing. They don't want that.
Yeah, they've
want to
said they don't
curate
want
what you
customers.
can see about games.
They only want the corporations to dictate. They don't want the
Yep.
customer or consumer to
customer
be able to
doesn't-
communicate.
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
need to have a voice.
I don't like that. That's terrible. So
Nope. That's like mega
also-
corporate dystopian type.
I also want to point out
Nonsense.
with Steam, getting on the Steam, you also get access to the Steam servers, which you can then utilize for your
Multiplayer and whatnot.
multiplayer.
Yeah, like
and it is possible to actually get that 30% cut decreased.
yeah, if you have enough volume of sales.
they'll actually slice it down.
Mm-hmm. I've heard some people say it gets as low as 12%. I'm not sure how to verify that
I heard
one way or
10.
the other.
Yeah,
So-
the,
But yeah.
issue is like unless like someone like really like pulls out, it's like here are the receipts for this. Like we're never going to know.
I know for a fact at least it could go down to 20%, and I've heard 10.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Point being, like they are willing to reduce it given the correct circumstances.
Red Dot
Red
Zebra.
Zebra donates
Oh, go ahead.
26 euros and says Epic deliberately ignored their store. I hate them. They did.
The only way they're
It's funny,
competing, by the way,
everyone-
is they're literally attacking. So they can't make a better storefront. We know that, right? They can't make a better storefront than Steam. And so what do they turn to? Tim Sweeney's turned towards trying to go around and basically like use legalese and other bullshit to try to,
Lawfare.
lawfare to go after his competition. Again, he doesn't care about the optics. Because again, remember,
That's what I was going to say.
I know,
Or
because
not.
I know some chapters like, why would he do that? Because again, he doesn't care about the optics because he's thinking about the short term. He's like, if I can decapitate or kneecap Steam in certain areas here and there, then maybe I can get what I want in the long run. He's not realizing, or maybe he just doesn't care that the wider gaming community as a whole look at what he says and immediately fucking cringes every time. He has become basically an unpopular figure.
And here's the other thing. The issue is so many of these companies look at the setup Valve has, and they see that 30% cut, and they're basically really fucking jealous that's not them. But the thing that they keep fucking forgetting, like for example with Epic, they don't want to do anything with the store. Like Steam, like you said, it has its flaws, but it actually tries to provide some service and utility to both the people that want to put their games on the platform and the people that use that platform to play their games.
Yeah, there's benefits for both parties, and Steam is actively working on improving it. Now, I will point out in the past that Steam was not very good when it first started in the early 2000s. However,
Oh god, it was so bad.
unlike Epic, if you compare where Epic was at launch versus Epic now, where Steam was at launch and where it is now, the
Like, Steam
difference is
actually improved in that time.
massive. Steam is now
actually improved.
Steam has now made itself into a better store platform. It's better than Windows Store. It's better than Epic. It's better than GOG. It's better than EA Play. It's better than Battle.net. All these other storefronts I just named, and any other ones I can't even think of. But yeah, it's better than those other
Not to
Steam
mention,
store platforms.
Like So if anyone has been on Steam long enough, they remember there was a time you didn't have to do mandatory updates, right? They took that away because big companies petitioned them to take it away. Now they're actually bringing that back and allowing people. It's a planned feature. We don't know ETA on what it's going to be, but you're going to be able to roll back updates so that your Steam Workshop doesn't get broken for all your
Looking
mods for like
to
RimWorld.
or
Yeah,
Barrow
That's
Trooper.
actually
So
a
that's
real
gonna
cause of
that's gonna
change.
come out as just a cause of change. Some games, and props to developers, allow us basically allow you to go into the betas, which just you set your game to a certain game version.
Yep, Project
Yes.
Zomboid
then
is
it won't update.
entirely worked that way because Project Zomboid understands that its player base and understands its work development because it is an indie project.
But as
Yup.
Ramu points out, like they are bringing that feature effectively. It'll probably be slightly different
It'll be
how
different
you implement
slightly,
it. But basically the how it'll work is going to be the same. You just set to this version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Which
you
is a
don't have to
huge
roll over.
benefit.
Yeah.
But like, I'll be the first to bitch and moan about mega corporations because, well, I've been playing video games forever. But
Doing everything.
well, if we have to choose between Epic or Valve, I'm going Valve. Like, they've been one of the few entities in this industry that have shown a willingness to change and listen and not just fuck its customer base.
I will happily
they're-
buy Daddy Gabe a new yacht.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And also, they're
If
not
he
one of
does
those
this,
companies
yeah.
who- they're not one of those companies that will stick their head in the sand and say, well, they'll just learn to accept it.
Yeah, they'll not stick their fingers in the ears and go nano nano peeboo. Like, they're not gonna just fucking tell you to go kick sand.
Yeah. Well, Tim Sweeney, I think we can all succinctly say, yet again, is retarded.
Keep in mind, Sweeney comes from finance.
He does.
Yep.
He's also
He is the
it ex-
problem in the games industry.
He's
And
not a
unironically,
gamer.
by-
Yeah.
just by default, he is from the slimy part, which is changed the gaming landscape to be more profit driven.
And while yes, Gabe Newell is a multi-billionaire, he's still at least as a gamer. Because like you could see all kinds of videos of him playing video games across the years,
He actually
and he
plays
actually
them.
knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. And to point out, when Nightmare was actually saying how Valve didn't know how well it would work when they came out in 2002, I remember the massive backlash Valve got when they
Yes.
acquired Steam for like Half-Life and Team Fortress.
Yep.
Okay.
But it was bad, the initial thing, and they've just been improving it since.
Mhm. But which time? Let's see. Frederick says they will only ignore the people begging for a 3, no matter what. Yeah, pretty much. I think the reality
Yeah.
is, real quickly on the 3 thing, it's not that they necessarily ignore them. I think they just don't really. They don't make games for that reason. Most of the reason why Valve makes games is usually to push a frontier
Tech
somewhere.
demo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
software or hardware.
And they've publicly stated that that's the reason. And that's why I
And
do
the
think
only
Half-Life 3
time-
will be in the future, because they need to push
There's
some
new
tech
stuff
and
coming out.
hardware.
Yeah.
Which
they've
I
said
wonder
it-
what they're pushing with Deadlock.
Yeah, Deadlock
I'm not sure.
is weird. Deadlock will
It could be
interesting.
they're pushing trying to expand a genre, I think, with Deadlock.
Well, it's taking the place. It could potentially take the place of Overwatch, which
I mean, what Deadlock
know.
sounds to me, it sounds like Monday Night Combat, if you guys remember that game.
It's basically
Monday Night Combat. That's a blast.
no. It's going to
I love that game.
prediction because there's been a couple third-person MOBA attempts, and they've usually all crashed and burned because they're really poorly made. It's trying to break into that market, I think, and quite frankly, it's going to dominate. It's going to be the third-person MOBA to
So,
play.
you need two things in that industry, that like game sphere, to really break out. You need incredible character design that isn't just look at my zoomer haircut.
Highguard.
And 2, you need phenomenal maps and mechanics.
Well, they got the art design done, given how I constantly see
Our art
Deadlock
director
fan art and stuff.
loves fucking Deadlock. I know that much.
I don't look for it. I constantly see it. Like every time there's a slight update, social media feeds. I just see it everywhere.
Well, we know where
it
Rapier
references every
goes.
once in a while, but I don't ever see
Schlumpus.
it actually.
I like a lot of the posts from our artists, and so that, yeah, unfortunately, some of the artists are furries.
But you
Damn.
need to say that he's also a furry.
What I mean to say is, Albine and Carlos has ruined my social media feed.
Oh my god. So, Next up, AI, generative AI. Just no. Google's Project Genie triggers gaming stock crash. Unity plunges 24% as Google's AI world generation tool sparks fear of disruption. By the way, this picture here, if that's actually from that, they should be able to be sued for that.
Yeah, so I've was seeing stuff into this beforehand, and it's a bunch of experts and whatnots proclaiming like, "Oh, this is gonna be revolutionize gaming, be the
They're gonna get
next
sued.
greatest thing. All games are dead." It is. So the main thing here is we've seen AI stuff do this before. All it's actually effectively doing is it's generating a video that you can kind of influence,
And there's like a second input
then
delay. Yeah.
there's input delays on that, and it doesn't actually remember anything that it generated like 5 or 3 seconds ago.
Okay, so the amount of memory it would need to have in order to remember everything it's generating as it's going and then log that information,
Mhm.
basically what would happen is the file size would explode. Like it's just
I
gonna.
also heard that to utilize this service is something like $300.
Yeah, it's
I'd
ridiculous.
rather kill myself.
It's the same thing.
I'd
Even,
rather
even
kill
if you take like
myself.
the
Get the
like
human servitor to
the
do it.
territory, or not the but like the backgrounds or whatnot. Just look at like the text AI shit that people did. Like you could like be like using AI for like GMing, and within like 3 or 4 lines, or like yeah,
It
3 or 4
starts to forget
lines.
things. Yes, because we did experiment
Yeah,
with AI
Mhm.
Dungeon on this channel before as like a
Yep.
meme. And the problem is it forgets like its own rules very quickly because it contradicts and then starts fighting with itself. It's just weird. But either way, like the big thing is that when it comes to this image, I want to highlight something is that it's reading a lot of this data and information. Like that image there, if that's from Genie 3, if that right there is, Nintendo should easily be able to sue them for that because it means that they are unlawfully using Nintendo's data and
training their
resources.
AI on Nintendo stuff.
FromSoft can also sue because the other videos I saw were literally just they copy paste the entire UI and the art of Dark Souls.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like you literally can't. It's like
You just can't.
you're like stealing code. Like it's literally
No,
illegal.
it's why I always get amused when like AI proponents are. It's like, oh, look at all these things. Look how much it's like saving money. It's like, okay, but what about all the artists you stole from to train that
Okay,
AI?
what game has been produced with AI like directly? And now how much money has been invested into AI just to produce a single game? It doesn't add up.
Over a single game that was
It's
purely
billions.
made by AI.
It's taken billions and billions of dollars, and they haven't produced a single fucking worthwhile thing. Nothing has been produced of value. And yet they keep pouring more
Also,
billions of dollars into this thing that
actually,
hasn't
on that note,
produced
people are
anything.
pulling out their investments on OpenAI.
As they
Yep.
should. Pull out of AI.
Nvidia is apparently is stating that they will not be dedicating 100 billion.
Are they realizing
to
Secret
OpenAI?
Nvidia's going to finally realize the smart
so the
move and
thing-
stop doing what they're doing?
So the thing with OpenAI is, at this point, OpenAI is like what 130 billion in debt.
Yeah, it's a
It
dead
is
end.
actually mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling how deep they are in debt.
It actually also came to I saw a thing as well that because they part of the reason we have all these RAM prices and other things going up is because OpenAI pre-ordered effectively what is it like 30% of
Of
the
the raw-
wafers produced worldwide.
Yeah,
No,
it was
70.
Yeah,
It was 70?
and
Okay.
it was like the raw, like not even like processed, like just the raw stuff.
And it's coming to light that they don't even
Have
have the money to pay for it.
Which means that stuff. I don't even know what they're going to be doing with that.
Well,
How
no,
that's
for
even
that.
gonna
Well,
play out.
so they straight up like it came to light pretty much immediately. They were pre-ordering that. They were putting that order down, not because they had any intention of making use of it. It was to
Oh no,
purely
they want
screw the
yeah,
market.
yes, it's specifically so that people would have to use the AI.
But yeah,
That was their idea.
So the big thing here is that again, AI is a dead end. It has been forever, and everybody's known that. And anybody who thinks that otherwise is either just not really reading into it because that's reality, or not really thinking or looking at what's being made. Like what has been made that has turned a profit? Like the only thing I can think of that comes to mind is the Coca-Cola commercial that was actually produced with it, and it was a fucking unmitigated disaster of epic proportions. Like it genuinely was a disaster.
The only time AI has actually been useful has been basically for like actual research in like medical or like other fields.
Yeah, it's been pretty handy for gene sequencing and cancer research.
Yep,
But
but
in actual
talking about
gaming,
creative,
like nothing. Yeah,
It's nothing in creative, no.
yeah, because
nothing.
that's my focus. Like this technology has a use and a place in other things, but again, the games industry and the creative sector is the problem with using this is that because of how this stuff learning language models LLMs work as a whole, it doesn't have value for what we're doing. The only thing that it could potentially have value is like NPCs and specifically combat algorithms, maybe for how
Yeah,
units
like
and stuff
very
take cover.
small, like very small stuff. Where
Because
it's like, I just need an NPC
we
to
have that
respond.
in StarCraft 2. We have that, I believe, in Dota, where they use these LLMs to run games, simulated games over and over and over again. And that's why they have so many difficulty tiers and why it can be so hard. Because it basically does like these various things that are incredibly hard with like because it's figured out the most optimal routes. But it cannot create. It's not creating anything. It's just using
just
the
iterating.
rules. It's iterating on
Yeah.
top of rules that have been stipulated by the user being the developer, right? And so that's how it can actually work because the rules have been stipulated. It has to, work within the confines of that or the confines of that rule set. The issue with creating a game is that creating a game requires a vision. Vision is something that's innately human. The issue when I look at this image here is it encapsulates everything wrong with AI. This isn't it didn't generate anything new. This is just Zelda and various other games that it ripped off of and combined into one. It literally looks like it's ripping off of mostly Breath of the Wild or
Just
whatever.
an asset flip game all
Just because it
entirely.
is.
It's studying Breath of the Wild and using those assets illegally without
Illegally.
because those are Nintendo's assets, mind you. They do not have the authority. That's why again they can release this image because they're not actually like selling it. If they tried to sell this, like Nintendo should not only be easily but like I don't like Nintendo. You guys know that. I think what they're doing with Palworld is completely, disgusting. I think Nintendo as a corporation is terrible. But of all the things that Nintendo is justified in suing, this right here is completely justified. Anybody should be able to sue them for this stuff because you're literally stealing other people's work. Like this is just outright theft. And everybody in the industry knows it. That's the worst part because I've talked to other industry people and I've read other things on the industry forum posts and stuff. And everybody knows it's theft. Everybody calls it theft. The people who work on it know it's theft. And it's just a matter of time till the legal system catches up and recognizes that this is theft.
I mean, the legal system kind of is, but not to the degree it probably should be.
Because this is literally IP theft is what's happening here.
Zebra donated 56 euros and says, I've actually used Gemini and ChatGPT to make comparative recipes, and so far I'd say GPT is still better for cooking. Yeah, that's just using a search engine, basically.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's just a search engine. But usually when I look for recipes, I usually have an idea what I'm looking for. So if I want something particular, I'll be like Googling something particular.
When it comes to like generative AI and stuff for like creative spheres, my estimation, and this is just someone looking from the outside in, you have maybe another 5 to 10 years before it just completely works its way out. Maybe even sooner, I'm not sure. But with the rate at which AAA games have been crashing and burning,
Highguard recently.
Not like in like small projects.
Yeah, not small projects. We're talking about billions of dollars
big,
lost.
like this company is dead type projects.
I know just over the because Microsoft is big in AI too, right? I know just over Microsoft's fucky wuckies with Windows 11, their stock had dropped like $400 billion in value.
God. So much money.
Which almost collapsed the Australian stock market.
It's almost like using AI to code your operating system's a bad idea.
Yes.
Oh, hold on, but crashing Australia's stock market almost funny enough to be worth it.
It didn't do a shit in America's stock market because that's how fucking huge our economy is.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one good news we have here is that if NVIDIA is actually doing what people say, like it's actually backing out, then that will actually be good because NVIDIA, like if NVIDIA just poofs because the AI bubble, that would be disastrous because the power vacuum is going to create a problem. And like just to get another company set up is going to be this massive void. NVIDIA, if they actually are backing out, which I hope to God they are, and other companies are, then that means that there won't be massive like economic disruptions. They're going to lose money because of what they've invested. NVIDIA hung slams report of 100 billion OpenAI deal collapse. Yeah, what the fuck? Is that related? NVIDIA Huang slams report of $100 billion OpenAI deal collapse. Jensen Huang calls Wall Street Journal report claiming NVIDIA is backing away from OpenAI investment nonsense. NVIDIA will definitely participate in OpenAI's latest funding round, Huang confirms to Bloomberg. OpenAI reportedly seeking $100 billion round with potential investors, including Amazon, Microsoft, and SoftBank. Original September deal involved up to $100 billion investment plus 10 gigawatts of computing infrastructure for OpenAI.
So much fucking power, goddamn.
You
Holy fuck.
wonder why there's rolling brownouts, and yet the fucking world or fucking government's like, yeah, no, nuclear power is bad. We're gonna open up more solar farms. Don't produce that kind of level. Like, we need nuclear power.
There's a reason that these AI startup things are investing in nuclear.
The only thing that beats the like per meter squared wattage output of solar farms, and solar farms do put out a lot of power. The problem is the acreage required.
Yes, massive.
There are two things that outcompete them in terms of wattage per meter squared: nuclear and fossil fuel.
Yep.
Everything else doesn't even compare. So solar's our third best.
That's nuclear is
nuclear takes
the most environmental friendly.
Well,
yeah,
depending
unless you're Russian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nuclear requires time to create the facility.
Well, it's also a heavily corrupt industry.
Yes,
is the problem.
It's also the most efficient and also the
cleanest
of all the sources.
Nuclear and atomic energy has been the cleanest energy that we have.
Creating these fucking wind farms and these fucking solar farms.
Wind farms are disastrous. They need to fucking go burn.
Yeah, because
our designs for the wind farms is literally just a money scheme.
Yeah, it is.
Oh no, it is. You'd be so surprised. Like, people on the outside, it's like, oh, it's so great. Like, so here's the issue, right? Let's just say you actually want to put one of these windmills on your land. At a certain point, you become liable for the maintenance cost of that.
I will never forgive them for the rampant corruption.
Oh no, there's that too. Don't get me wrong.
Because that's the reason we don't have Helix designs.
Yeah. But like
hydroelectricity, that's pretty much based on location.
Yep. I mean, the big thing with atomic power is it takes a while to build because they have to build these things properly, and they should be built properly following the right procedures. Because if they're built improperly, they will go from being ecologically, friendly to being ecologically disastrous, like Chernobyl. But Chernobyl only happened due to corruption. Chernobyl also happened due to the fact that RMBK reactors are incredibly flawed, and also happened for several other things. Like, an RBMBK reactor can explode because they're literally shit.
3.6 rockin', not great, not terrible.
3.6 rockin', not great, not terrible. That's equivalent of a couple of chest X-rays. 4,000, but yeah.
We do need to finish Chernobyl, but yeah.
We do.
But yeah, so not to... I know I kind of derailed with the whole power thing. Yes, nuclear is our best option forward in terms of not just these dumbass AI data centers, but in terms of like energy generation in general. The problem is, while yes, they do take a long time to build, it's not the technology that's the issue. It's literally corruption in the labor force being used, because almost all of them are heavy union based and are required to be by federal mandate.
See, the biggest problem is we got away from boiling water for energy.
Damn.
We need to go back to boiling water.
Some of the most ghetto shit I've ever seen.
But like 4th and 5th gen Western nuclear reactor designs are incredible with how efficient and viable they are.
We have things that can just reuse the depleted uranium and fuel rods. Yeah.
Yep.
They can,
you can re-enrich them.
Yeah.
So there's not even them as munitions
anymore. Yeah.
Nice. Coming to a nation full of oil near you.
Guys,
full of oil.
Guys, we have to go to war. Why? We're cycling out the fuel rods for new ones.
Coming to a sector near you.
There's a random third world here. We need to spend some ammunition.
Kamazar says,
It will be real, unfortunately.
Boiling water is the peak of civilization.
It is.
The entire goal of humanity has been to find more efficient ways to boil water.
Yep. First, we boiled it for cleaning our water. Then we boiled it to make soups. Now we just boil it because it's funny.
Now, we boil it because autism demands that we make it more efficient.
Everything revolves
Whenever
around toasty
mankind-
water.
Whenever mankind gets to space, we're just gonna have giant oceans and our starships boiling water.
Yep. That spin around it.
You're not
Spinner.
actually probably far off.
I'm probably not.
No, you say that as a joke. I think that's probably going to be like a legit option.
It's
What?
because water is actually unbelievably useful.
Water
Oh, no,
is
it is.
Very
literally
energy-dense.
insane. It's not only the basis of life, it's literally like the key to like everything. Like
It's very energy dense and it has 1,000,000,001 uses.
water everywhere, Jet. Just
Why is it so salty?
Why is it so salty?
I think we should turn Rapier back into water. He's just water now.
Wappier.
Grape flavored water.
Reguline
No,
channeling
he's
his inner demon.
Ransagawa.
He wants to
He's
take my water.
Ransagawa riding Horsagawa.
Ranso
Waffles.
Wawa.
Ransagawa. Ransagawa.
All right, next subject. Now, this is the key linchpin of today's Bunchcast. Whoa. Valve to face a $900 million lawsuit over unfair Steam prices. Valve will now have to defend a £656 million, or $900 million, lawsuit in the UK after a tribunal ruled, in Britain, by the way, that the case against Steam can proceed to a full trial. In Britain, by the way. Like, no other country is doing this, by the way. I just want to point that out. Britain's doing
Yeah.
this. It's
Out of
only
nowhere.
Britain doing it, by the way.
The UK should just be sunk.
Yeah, so the decision was made by a
Sorry,
competition appeal tribunal. I wonder who that was behind that shit, which rejected Valve's attempt to block the claim from moving forward. The lawsuit accuses Valve of abusing its dominant position in the PC gaming market through the operation of Steam, leading to unfair prices, per the BBC. The claim was filed in 2024 by digital rights campaigner Vicky Shortbolt, what a name, on behalf of up to 14 million Steam users in the United Kingdom. It alleges that Valve, on behalf of up to 14 million Steam users. Why do I have a feeling that those 14 million Steam users don't even know about this? Or even like
Because
aware
they
of
They
it?
don't.
usually don't.
Remember, the
with
government
large
signs up
lawsuits like
all its
this.
people for things that they have no say in.
Yeah, because it's
Yep.
not that 14 million people actually think that. It's that they're just throwing in the user base number behind it to give them.
Yeah, no, it's literally
Okay.
they're just looking at Steam users in Britain and
Therefore,
saying,
they
"This
all want
people
this.
are-"
Therefore, they all.
Yes.
Just
Now,
like how
before we
Microsoft.
continue, Vicky Shotbolt is the founder and CEO of Parent Zone and sits on the UK Council
no.
for Child Internet Safety.
Oh no! Think of the children. He's literally hiding behind children as a shield again. It's another one of those types. It's literally it's worse than you think. Oh my God, Squealy!
No.
Jesus
Before we
Christ!
continue,
Mind you, the
Ray
UK doesn't give
Kira
a flying fuck about their children. Mind you.
donated 26 euros and says water just takes credit for hydrogen skills. True. And then Cassavec donates $5 and says, I hope folks are doing all right. I'm going back to lurking and don't mind me nerding out and chat about nuclear power.
No, I've been seeing it. And
Yeah. I've been seeing him and Frederick.
yeah, I'm going on tangents. But yeah, thank you for your super
Make your
generous
choice
donation.
for the $5 dues.
There, thanks, Gannon and Cookie.
Like, yeah, fuck you, Indio. He's like, oh, just screaming in the background. All right, so. Okay, I have to point this out because it's so goddamn bad. It has to be. Like, I can't not. I want to point out that the United Kingdom, or Britain, or Britbong, or whatever you want to call it, Britbongistan, literally
Please
is a
don't go.
nation which basically enables the rape of children, is the reality. There are literal rape gangs that go around and rape children in Britain. And it's disgusting and it's horrific. And I'm sad I have to bring it up.
And their police were a part of it.
And their police were not only a part of it, but were literally aiding it. Yes, they were literally
Yeah,
supporting
because
it.
like some higher ups in that particular area, I forget which one.
They've been
were,
silencing
were
it.
heavily implicated. In,
Yes.
like,
So
at
I wanna
least
move-
Being aware.
I want to move on real quickly because I don't want to be in the subject too long because it's disgusting and horrific. But they literally do that. This is coming from the same government that not only applauds the rape of children, it does, and it's disgusting. They're claiming to use children as a shield yet again to do this to Steam, and they're claiming that they're doing it in their best interest. This is bullshit. Every one of you knows this is bullshit. This is a complete fucking lie. What they are doing is literally not okay. It's literally bullshit. They don't actually care. I know, hold on. They don't care about children. They don't give a shit about them. They're literally using children as a shield to bludgeon other companies. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what they're doing. And they're doing that to bludgeon Steam because they've been cracking down on censorship of other social media platforms. And Britain's been doing this. And Britain's a literal shithole. I'm sorry if you live in Britain. I love my British audience. I love you to death. And my heart goes out to all of you. But you live in a shithole. You live in the worst country in the Western Hemisphere. And I'm so sorry that you live there.
The government's trying to push out now. You have to get a permit to travel more than 15 minutes away from where you live.
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry you live there. You live in a totalitarian hellhole in the Western Hemisphere. It's literally hell. It's literally hell. And we can't not say that because it's literally hell. It's literally the worst country in the Western Hemisphere. Because this country does that. And it's so tragic because there's so many good rate and good people in that country. But the reality is that this is, again, them yet again going after the British consumer. It's not even about Steam. This is about them attacking the British consumers because they are trying to attack Steam to make it more fair, quote unquote. It's, again, another power play to take more rights away from the people. And it's sad. And that's the reality. Steam players could receive compensation. Big doubt. So again, what all this is going to do, by the way, is really just push Steam out of being interested in operating in the UK. It's not.
I don't think that's the case. I think they will bend the knee because of all the people they have in the UK.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Like that, it just means it's going to push Steam to being not interested in being operating over there. They're probably going to bend the knee because Steam doesn't have a choice. That's already going to happen. But it's still going to make Steam less interested in appealing to them and focus on other areas that are better. Because
I suspect Steam will fight this because they actually do fight a lot of lawsuits like this.
I hope they do. But the
The
reality
only time
is,
they've really just bent the knee is when the payment processes were literally threatening to pull.
yes, that was the hentai games. Yep.
Yeah.
The H games, because Steam had to bend the knee. Usually Steam will fight tooth and nail, but when the payment processors are on board with something, they have no choice. Because the payment processors, we have to talk about this too, because the payment processors are equally terrible.
I would argue more tyrannical because of how they
can literally pull support
yeah.
for the finances for everything on a whim, and they literally do not. No one should have that power. They should not be able to do that unless there's like an explicit thing like this person is literally a terrorist who's buying fucking nuclear bombs or something. I don't fucking know. Like literally,
They don't even pull it for that.
they don't even pull it for those people.
If you like hentai, then they're like, oh,
you like anime titties?
It's funny. It's also funny how a lot of people that rally against stuff because it's abusing children. It's almost always projection.
Yeah, it's projection.
Yeah.
So here's the tragic reality. Any of these organizations, and I hate talking about this because it makes me mad. It makes my blood boil. So I need to just relax a little. But the reality is that when it comes to this shit, usually when they project and go like, oh, kids safety or child safety, it's not about child safety. They don't give two shits. They use children to bludgeon people with them. And the reason why they do that is because it's easy to hide behind.
Kids, don't you?
Because if you say no, no, I don't agree with that. You want to hurt kids? It's like, oh my God. You're literally using them to hide your ideology, to hide what you're doing. You are hiding behind them. You are a disgusting human being because you do not care about those kids. You are using them to push a narrative. It's the same way with video games rights activists. Like, this is harmful. Those age games are harming kids. It's like those games are only sold to 18 or plus. Like, you have to be 18 years older to buy that.
And if a kid gets access to it, that means they're literally alive.
That's the fault of the kid, and that's the fault of the parent, and they should be reprimanded for that action because they fucked up. It should be on an individual case-by-case basis, like all law is, and when somebody commits a crime, they should be punished for that crime. Right? No fucking bullshit around it. They shouldn't be able to go like, oh, my gun, it killed all those people. I don't know, it fell in my hand and I just couldn't stop aiming at people and pulling the trigger. I don't know
You
how.
know,
I just
I appreciate what you're saying, Kibbs, but if it was a Sig, pistol, it might have killed someone.
It
I don't
might
know.
Yeah, it probably did. Yeah.
If it was a SIG, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
it is the one gun where you can legitimately say the gun did it.
like I was in the mall and I was like, oh, I gotta reload it, because I don't want it to be unloaded. And I loaded it, I pulled the charge handle and I just pulled the trigger again. And I kept aiming at people and then I reloaded again and then I reloaded again. Like, what the fuck is that argument? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's not the gun's fault.
killing
The gun is a tool. The person who wielded that weapon is the person at fault. The tool, like if there's a stabbing and somebody uses a knife to stab somebody,
A tool.
it's not the knife's fault. It's the person holding the knife. I
But
have a kitchen full of
happens?
knives, and yet I don't go around stabbing people.
what happens if the person with the loaded gun screams, "I love Space King"?
I love Space King. Then he loves Space King.
Yeah, that's just normal, Mamu.
God, I can't get the fucking scene out of my head now.
I love Space Game.
No, the best part is the part leading up to it. You know what? And then it's like, no, he sided with Space King.
But you guys get what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's this nonsensical argumentation. It has no
It is
basis.
manipulation via emotion. You've seen despotic regimes do this throughout human history. A certain German Workers' Socialist Party like to do it a lot.
The NSDAP, yes. The NSDAP.
It's just like anytime someone wants to try to push like a shitty law or anything like that, they will literally just use the argument, well, think of all the kids we're protecting.
Yes, anyone who's despotic or wants to actually revoke rights or anything in the sake of security will immediately start with the lowest common denominator of society, which in this case is children. The next one to escalate to is women and old women.
Mm-hmm.
It's the emotional manipulation.
Yep.
Because you don't want to be the person supporting thing for children, do you?
Any organization that calls themselves child protection thingy is more than likely just an organization.
And such protection of gun violence for children, blah, blah, blah. Same thing.
Puts
It's
that
all
name.
Emotional manipulation.
Emotional manipulation to push an agenda. They don't actually, it's like the same that happened for like, the Bible thumping for like way back when in the, was it 90s and 80s?
70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yep. It was even honestly before the 90s.
Yeah, games.
70s, 80s, 90s.
They did the same tactic on any side, because it's right and left do this. And any side, anyone that uses children anytime, and right now we see often from the left at the moment, anyone that does that is an enemy of everyone, because what they're doing is they're again doing manipulative tactics to force and ramrod their puritanical ways. Because remember, the greatest enemy of both the left, the right, the center, the up, the Space King, wherever you are, right? Wherever you are, the biggest enemy of all of them and everyone is a Puritan. Puritans is like a mentality, like there are things you could be Puritan about, but an extreme Puritan will be absolute in everything they do. They will be absolute control, and it's all about absolute control and taking away like the ability for you to have any will, so that their control can exert over you. The example of like, because people might use this as an example, right? Puritans can range from people who want like Tolkien's lore to be faithful or things like that. That is what we call, that is puritanical in a way, but it's not Puritanism. It's not the same kind of like factor. It's like the staying faithful to something because it says on the box, Star Wars, it should be Star Wars, right? Now, people might try to conflate that, but the reality is there's a big, big difference and a divide here. Because it's Puritan, the idea of Puritanism, right? Or what an ism is the fact that it's like, okay, you will be on my side with everything, Chatfish, and if you're not on my side, then you are against children, Red Dot Zebra. He's like, what? You're a children destroyer. That's what you are. Bad little children obliterator.
Annihilator.
Yeah.
Children.
And like that's the kind of shit, because that's a Puritanism where they're just like using the actual like bludgeoning force, and it's like, if you're not with me, you're against me. Like it's that madness thing. It's this, if you're not with, go ahead. What?
I need to point out something. Tauber just outed how old he is.
I remember when literacy was the devil putting ideas in your head.
I mean, that was just last week in the Bible Belt, to be honest.
It's true though.
True Puritanism
If you
has
know,
never
you know,
been
is that part of
tried.
the U.S.
Don't read. Reading better.
You should be illiterate.
Yeah, because being
I am illiterate.
being Puritan about like
do you-
I like something a certain way is a difference because it's a scale, and I have to iterate that because I'm worried that some lower IQ people might not realize the difference. But that's why it's important to very clearly denote things. Puritanism is like the idea of absolute, right? It's like absolutely must be 100%. If you're not, if it has demons and doom, it's demonic, and we need to ban it because we have to protect the kids. Grand Theft Auto has car hijacking. We have to ban it because it's not very. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's the religious Puritan. Anyone who's old enough to remember it in the 90s and early 2000s, the religious Puritanism from the right of violence and anything sexual with video games was of the devil and was, blah, blah, blah. Same thing in the 80s and 70s with music. These people don't actually have a political leaning one way or the other. They lean whichever one has the most power at the time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because their real goal is control. Pure and simple. They are control freaks.
Yes, because the difference between Puritanism, like, for example, let's use myself as an example, because White Hawk raises a point. Let's say everybody that uses children in anything is an enemy, right? But we take away the context of what I say, because that's what White Hawk did. You remove the context of what I say, and then you're like, okay, well, that means children's hospitals are our enemy now. Yes, if we remove context from a conversation, that can mean that, right? If we operate on an absolutism, that all people that use the word children in their name are an enemy, then our crusade will not stop at just like these different organizations like the one we're talking about here. Our crusade will then go towards children's hospitals because the next natural step of a crusade, because that is a great example of a Puritanism. It is absolutism working entirely, right? So it's like we're going all in. If we remove context, yes, then that is. But that standard was never set because we're removing context, little hawkfish. Bad. Slap him, Chet. Put him on the frying pan. Like, okay.
Looks like Hawk is for dinner.
Bird.
Put tartar sauce on him and cheddar cheese.
Put tartar sauce.
Because yes, if we operate under that, yeah. But again, that's nitpicking and removing context. And you know what I do to people that do that? That's the same people that clip people and try to cancel you. He's like, oh my God, he's see what I'm doing?
Catfish take you out of context all the time.
So you're forgetting that there's a third type of person where it's like it literally does not matter what you said; they will just take the malicious interpretation of what you said.
Yes, that's also people do that sometimes. Where no matter what you say, they will always interpret the worst possible lens of what you say. And at that point, here's what you do. There's actually a pretty good mindset that you have for that. You just don't fucking care. You don't placate that. You don't backpedal. You just ignore it and you just move on past it. Because the reality is, if somebody's going to be maliciously interpreting you, anytime you do any sort of clarification, what they're doing is they're trying to set you up in such a way that you're going to backpedal or undermine your own argument. And it's a clever tactic, but that's why we don't engage in debate. Debate is pointless. Debate is for the weak-minded and weak-willed. People who debate are generally retarded. There's no reason to debate somebody. All a debate exists to do is it exists to undermine your opponent through manipulation and through basically
literally there to dunk on them. That's what
yes,
it's become.
Debate and like debates as a whole are literally for weak-minded people. That's all it is.
Now, that's not to say conversation is bad, mind you, but debate, specifically going into a conversation to debate, is useless and a waste of everyone's energy.
Because you're
Also,
not actually
if you're
going to have a
talking about-
conversation. A debate is basically
you're
just a
going to
fight.
win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going there to win. And it's like if you're talking like the formal debates where there's all these like different rules, it's like at that point you're not having a conversation.
Yeah, you're literally going to a fucking WWE wrestling match. Like, it's all for show.
Yep. it's a
There's
blood
no
sport.
substance, and that's why it's fucking pointless. Like, if you have an ideology or you have a thought, you should share your thought, and people will challenge that thought, but to debate that thought is pointless, because the reality of the merit of that thought will be tested, and if it's found weak and wanting, the reality is it will fail. And then, or somebody will iterate on that thought and basically improve that thought. But the reality is, when you look at it from a debate context, all that is like, watch my Westerwolf fight your Westerwolf. It's like, oh my god, it's the cringiest.
Literally, my dad can beat up your dad. Stupid level of
It's like
retard.
It's so dumb, and the whole purpose of it usually comes to the fact it's that somebody wants to dunk on somebody. Like I saw this, and I don't really mention other content creators, but I saw this happen a while ago with a content creator, but you probably all know by the name of Asmongold, and you had some dude, I can't remember, some guy who like shocks his dog, or was it the guy who wants to murder kids? I don't remember. One of those two, the guy who wanted to murder a child, or the guy who shocked his dog. One of
that's
the
Destiny.
Yeah.
The one that shocked his dog
Vance
was
Willie.
Well, one
Okay.
of them wanted to debate fucking the Asmongold guy, right? And Asmongold's like, no, I'm not going to debate you. It's like, yeah, why would you? It's
there's no
literally,
point.
you're right. Don't debate him. It's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste
It
of
is.
All the reason why they're doing that isn't to have a fair conversation, because a conversation is something you have with your friend, right? If I have a disagreement with Shmormu and Shmormu has a disagreement with it, we discuss it, right? Shmormu, great example of something that you and I don't disagree on entirely, is you don't like Star Wars, and I like Star Wars, and that's fair.
It's dog shit.
And I
everyone
also-
who likes it is dog shit.
I was gonna be like, and I was gonna say,
Listen to this hyperbolic language.
fuck, I was gonna
he
be like, and I respect the fact that he doesn't like it, because that's fair. Like I get it.
And then I
And then
immediately
he's like,
Dog
and then never mind. But we're friends, and so that's the big difference, right? Is that different meanings? You know what I mean, Chad? You know what I mean?
No,
Trying to
he's
set
in
up a
this for-
reason and a thing, and he just completely
this
pulls
for
the
the
rug
long-
out of me.
No, he's in this for the long con. He wants to be around you long enough so he can have a conversation, and then you find out later it's a debate.
There's a debate.
Only I'm allowed to
I didn't tell you
long
guys
con
this, but
ramen.
I'm actually secretly from BreadTube,
God damn.
You are clearly.
obviously.
But yeah, so
Can you imagine? Fucking Christ.
So again, back on
elaborate
point real
further.
quickly. Debates are completely pointless because neither side actually respects each other. And don't give me that, because I can already see the counter argument being like, yeah, but look at when John McCain debated Obama. They were super respectful to each other. Yeah, that's because they shake hands behind scenes and they're all part
Because
of
they
the
were
same
jerking
thing.
each other off behind scenes.
Yeah,
that's
like-
exactly, it was bullshit.
and
it was theater.
It's all theater and it's all fake. Like all this debating shit is fake. It's fake.
So
fake.
debate me, bros, because
It's-
that's a whole sector of the internet.
Yeah.
Are there purely to get clips for their audience to jack off about how great their special internet man is? That's it.
And then the other side does the exact same thing, because
Yes.
they won't look at the whole thing. They'll just clip the sections that look favorable for them, and then they'll be like, yeah, look, win, WWW. And the other side's like WWW. And then the other side posts the L's on the other side, and the other side posts the L's on the other side, but neither group looks at the other group. Nobody's opinion actually changes. No one actually
it's literally
switches
a waste
sides.
of energy.
No one switches sides in this. It's purely just fucking pointless. Nobody switches their opinion. And anybody that says that, you know what those people are? They're fucking liars. I've seen this happen all the time. Where people are like, I used to be a big supporter of, guns, but then I saw a debate from this guy and I changed my opinion. You look at their history, they were never.
They were never, they were never pro 2A. They were always
It's
against
the
it. They're just saying
same.
it now.
Yeah, it's the same thing, because the reality is people rarely change their opinions on things. We're stubborn. We're humans. It's okay. It's all right to admit that, but we're all stubborn. It's innately human to be stubborn.
Yeah, realizing people don't change. I was
Also,
right all along.
if you're saying people are radicalized and they never become unradicalized, does that mean they're basically the revolutionaries from Victoria too? Once a radical, always a radical.
Once a radical, always a radical. I mean, Victoria 2 was right with its programming, all right? Once they become radicalized, they never change. You just have to kill them. Just have to kill them. In a
Dude,
way, yes.
2026. You got to kill them.
But so the reality is that, okay, when it comes to radicalization, real quickly on this note, radicalization, de-radicalization is a thing. It's basically how agitated somebody is. And when you agitate somebody, it's like a sore spot on your flesh. No drinking.
I think Kib died.
You agitate somebody, they get to a point where they're agitated, they're energized. But as you pull away the things that are causing them to be inflamed, you point some ointment on them, or some what we call chill pills on them, so to speak, they'll relax. Now, there are people who are just angry all the time or have easy agitation. I do. I used to have anger problems. I don't have them as bad as I do, but I still like when it flares up, It's like I'm just mad and I'm in a bad mood. And it's like, okay, I need to calm down, need to relax, because recognize that's a personal fault, right? But that's when it comes to personal things. Anyway, this is completely off the subject of what we were talking about.
What are we doing again?
Talking about the British suing Steam.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
British
the
suing Steam. But yeah, so basically back to the British suing Steam thing. The reality is when it comes to Steam and this whole thing is Britain is yet again being retarded. Like, it's just Britain being retarded. Britain's a dumb fucking country, and it's trying to fuck over Steam users.
It's a silly and smelly place.
It is. And it's trying to fuck over Steam users, and that's the reality of what they're doing, because they're trying to get more W's and take more control away from Steam. And that's what they're doing here.
It's just them going down their usual route of making any business just look at the entire chain of islands over there and go, no thanks, I don't want to.
I never trust the people that put peas on French fries.
I
Or
don't trust
beans on
people who
toast.
put U's in
Death
words
to
that don't
Britain.
have
Like,
U's in them.
no. But yeah.
Look, I'm like 9th generation American. I'm genetically required to hate them.
So yeah, so the real quick thing is, it, like, for all my British fishies out there, you're good little guys. It just sucks that your country is doing something stupid. Like, they shouldn't have enabled.
Start crying.
Like, I love you guys. You're great little fishes. Strong fishies. Strong little fishies. Like, screaming. But yeah, it's dumb. It's completely dumb, and it's nonsensical. Yet they're doing it, and they're going to do it. Hopefully Steam will win, because Steam should win. It's one of those things where it's against, like, all right, whatever. Did we finish reading the article? No. Well, let's at least do it. Okay, so I blew a gasket when I saw the Steam players could receive compensation thing, because it's, like, so fucking retarded.
Oh, that reminds me.
What?
Because you're talking about, like, earlier in the argument they were mentioning, like, all these UK gamers and, like, whatnot. So I can guarantee you it's a thing that they just forcefully sign people up to, because Microsoft did that recently. Because they just released, there's millions and millions of people using our new Copilot AI. They changed Microsoft Office to be Copilot and forced everyone to had offers to be signed up to Copilot now.
It's sort of because they're trying to stem
I hate Microsoft.
people not wanting to use AI tools. That's what
Yep. So now it's literally, if you had Office of any kind, you installed it all. Now you have Copilot instead.
Fuck. It's garbage. It's like when they tried to push Cortana. It was stupid.
No,
Like,
I would
no.
say, that was funny. I think the thing is when they were trying to push, what was it, like, was it Google Plus or whatever the fuck that thing
Either way,
was for YouTube?
we're segueing away. So, back. Steam players could receive compensation. According to the filing, Steam's rules also require players who purchase the base game on the platform to buy all associated downloadable content through Steam. The lawsuit argues this practice effectively locks users into Valve's ecosystem. Oh my fucking god, my brain just died right there. And enables the company to charge commissions of up to 30% costs that are ultimately passed on to the consumers. I want to literally point out that that's what? Hold up a second. The Valve's ecosystem, and enables the company to charge commissions of up to 30% costs that are ultimately passed on to the consumer. All right. Firstly, it's entirely a choice to buy a game on Steam. Obviously, when you buy a game on Steam, of course its DLCs are limited to it. Just like they are with GOG. Just like they are with Epic. Or any other fucking platform. Literally, Microsoft and Steam are the same way, by the way. Or
So-
just Microsoft. Oh, my God, my throat.
Steam's does have a requirement of, because EA had a hissy fit with Steam and ended up pulling stuff, and then they came crawling back.
Yeah.
Steam has a requirement of, if you sell a product for a game, you also have to have it on Steam.
Mm-hmm. They can't do exclusive marketing.
Yeah. That is part of the agreement of when you put the game on Steam.
Yes, because EA tried to weasel around it by putting things exclusively on their platform and not Steam.
Yep.
To get them to buy it twice.
Which is why they just threw their hands up, released all the DLC for Dead Space 2, just gave it part of the base game, and then pulled everything else.
Yep, because EA fucked up. EA fucked up. EA ran away to make Origin. EA came crawling back like, I'm sorry. And then they put all their
Oh,
games.
no.
Not only did when EA came crawling back, I want to remind you, they put the old Sims, they put fucking Command and Conquers, they put all those games on there. They even hired programmers and had programmers go through those games and made sure Dungeon Keeper and all those old ass games booted. And I wanted to point out yet again, when EA goes like, "Oh, we can't do it. It's too hard." Then EA does it. They shut up. They do it, and they do it expediently and fast. EA's a little bitch that can actually do great things if they fucking wanted to, but they pretend like they can't because they're retarded. Because they think they can get away with being cheap about it. The reality is, EA, yes, you can do it. You just did it, and you did a pretty good job of making everything run right away. And it just proves to me that you lie a lot. Like, a lot. You lie a lot.
They just don't want to spend any money on development
You
costs.
can do it. You just did it. You restored all those games and made them all functional. You then put on games that were never on Steam and they work now. You had programmers do it. You have the resources, you little lying shits. It's not that it was impossible. It was very possible. You just chose not to.
It was actually really easy.
Just like it would be super easy for you to turn on all the servers for all the games you turned off. It's just a button you have to flip. That's actually all you have to do. And you just choose not to because you're fucking lazy. It's no excuse for what you're doing, EA. And you know it, and I know it. There's no excuse. And it wouldn't cost you any money to add offline features to anything. Because by comparison, it would be a little drop in the bucket for you to add like local area support or optional solutions to that. Or tie it to Steam's interface and API stuff. You have the resources. You proved you could do it. EA's a fucking weasel, chat.
And now that we've successfully segued Kibbs away from the article.
Yes, so back to it. You guys are being really bad about this. The collective actions cover UK customers who have brought games or add-ons from... Oh, wait, no, I haven't finished my point. God damn it. So yeah, the lawsuits argues this practice effectively locks users into Valve's ecosystem and enables the company to charge commissions of up to 30%. I don't know what they mean by up to 30%. What? Like, is that for the user? That feels like...
I think I think what they're doing is they're just looking because they hear that Steam takes like a 30% cut, and
Yeah,
they're just
British Fish.
using that number.
British Fish, tell me what that is if there's something particular, because I'm not... Like, is that just the 30% cut that Steam usually takes? Or is that some other
To
bullshit?
me, that's what it sounds like they're saying, and they're extrapolating off of that because Steam is taking this extra cut, that means that the consumers are having to pay more because they're going to charge more now.
That's
for
not true,
things.
because like the game is literally charged. If it's $20 on Steam, it's also $20 on my Microsoft Store. Usually, almost 9 times out of 10. It's the same if it's on Epic.
Because that way, that's when that sounds like that's literally what they've done. They charge 30%. Therefore, they have to charge more for their games to make the same
And
profit.
if any games are
Therefore,
doing that, that's so few games. I don't even know about them.
I'm pretty sure Steam also requires you to not like do that stuff now.
This honestly sounds like fucking Tim Sweeney's behind this because of this mention of 30%
Yes,
thing.
it really does sound like
Like Tim Sweeney hasn't said anything, but like this person for Vic Shotbolt, who's in charge of child safety, some bullshit. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Sweeney and him are friends.
The way this is worded, it sounds like they literally just looked at what Tim Sweeney tweets and then made an article about it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, and then the whole thing is predicated on what Epic claims. By the way. Which again, it all feels like it's connected. I don't know. Maybe it's weird that it just feels like it's connected, but it feels like the strings are all connected in this particular field. Like it's related to the same complaint of Tim Sweeney. It's all connected to Epic's claims. It's all connected to the same logic that Tim Sweeney operates on. Like Epic still is entire core fundament is entirely operating on the principle of getting legal legislation to kneecap Steam. And yet here, all this is basically coalescing into a legal group going after Steam, doing what Tim Sweeney wants.
Oh.
Just saying, it's very similar.
So we have Harlot here saying, it sounds like they are complaining about the commission. This will go nowhere. It's just trying to get payout from Valve.
So they're trying to just get more percentage months from Valve.
They're just trying to get a payout from Valve because they think this is an easy case they could just win.
They're not going to, but yeah.
Valve should definitely put their foot down and fight this. They should not give them anything. They should make sure they lose money in legal action. Didn't it
say that this court case will be in the UK? So they're trying to force Valve
to go into the UK courts rather than the US.
Yes.
Yep.
Despite the fact that Valve, I believe, is a US company, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
So of course they're trying to drag a US company into their courts.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look what happened last time they tried to
They're
do that.
corrupt, shitty cores. Yes.
Bad, British, bad. All right, so let's see. The collective action covers UK customers who have bought games and add-ons on Steam or other PC. Yeah, but they don't care about that. Like, I can guarantee you they don't give a shit about that. It's entirely a kneecap move. If successful, the case could result in compensation being paid to affected users. Could
It's not going to.
result. And based on what we know about games, if Cyberpunk's $20 on Steam, it's usually $20 on GOG, which means that percentage hike thing doesn't exist for 90% of games. And if there is any games, it's going to affect like 5 people who bought some really obscure title that was affected by that because the developer felt like they needed to change the price somewhere else by making
So
it more
what
expensive.
they could use as evidence is they could point to a game that's not currently on sale on Steam, but is on sale somewhere else. Because that does happen. Where a game could be on sale on GOG, but it's not on Steam, and vice versa.
They have different sales and different sales periods. And still up to the developer when to do those sales, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's not necessarily like a company wanting a different like rate, like just normal rate on a different storefront. That's literally just like on GOG, they're doing a sale.
Yeah. So either
And then
way,
once the sale's over, same price.
this sounds completely retarded. This action is being supported by a law firm, Milberg Lund LLP. I don't care. Valve had argued that the case should not be certified to proceed to trial, but the tribunal ruled that the claim were sufficient to move ahead. Valve has been contacted for comment, but hasn't. Or had they said the lawsuit follows earlier scrutiny of Valve's business practices with a separate consumers case, also filed against the company in the United States. Blah blah blah. Steam, which launched in 2003, remains the largest digital storefront for PC games because the competition isn't doing anything. Is the reality. Like, as a consumer, as somebody who can see on the ground floor level, the reality is, why is Steam better than Epic? Why is it better than GOG? Why is it better than EA storefront? Why is it better than Microsoft storefront, et cetera, et cetera? It's because it literally is just effectively better. They're more competent. And so adding shackles and kneecap things because it's a better service for consumers is not actually fair. It's actually unfair because it's literally like, okay, the company that didn't try doesn't have to worry because the company that did try will literally be made to be shitty because legislation will make it shitty. That's fucking stupid. Steam, which launched in 2003, PC data from VG Insights estimates that more than 19,000 games were released on the platform in 2025, generating $11.7 billion in revenue, underlining the scale of the market at the center of the legal challenge. Again, completely glossing over the fact that the Steam's doesn't have a monopoly. It's literally that every other corporation doesn't want to do anything. Steam doesn't do anything to create a monopoly.
Yeah.
It just exists.
The way they
way the
also
joke-
worded that,
It's really the joke of Steam does nothing, Steam wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
the way they worded that, they're only going after Steam because Steam's the bigger market.
Yeah,
They don't care if other things are doing it. It's because Steam's the bigger market.
it's because Steam
The-
has
the
money and they want
closest
Steam's
thing-
money is what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, the closest thing you could argue, and I don't actually think this is the case. The closest thing you could argue, it's an efficiency monopoly. The closest you can have.
And God
again,
forbid it's an efficiency monopoly. Well, I guess the other
remember
companies should get better at efficiency.
No, that's what I mean. That's why
Also,
it's like
nothing
that's the closest it could be, and I don't even think that's true.
nothing
No, there's
stops
like-
a company from just selling their product on their own website.
Well,
Yeah.
it does. They're all publicly traded. Steam's private, so don't worry about shareholders.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for
That's what
example,
stops them.
I mean, that's those other companies because they're stupid, right? But there are indies that do. There are a lot of companies that do. For example, Star Sector, they don't even put their game on Steam. They're not
Star
even on
Sector.
Oh
Steam.
yeah,
Hytale.
Fractal Softworks. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even on Steam. They just have their own website. They one day plan to be, but not anytime
Now-
soon.
Keep in mind, no one knew about that game unless you were on some obscure image boards until a certain YouTuber made a video about it.
I knew about it not from the Yub number, but from Chat Bitches. Chat Bitches would stream that game because there's several Chatfish that have been super into that game for a very long time.
Well, then a
but
more
it was
popular thing, Hytale's a
very-
good example.
Word of mouth is how I
it
found
was
out.
very obscure until then.
Word of mouth, and then
So-
Yub numbers exploded it.
Steam does do like you've said a couple times. They are trying with like visibility for smaller groups and whatnot.
They're
But
working
Steam
on it.
does do a good job of allowing for visibility to occur versus if you do your own storefront or your own website and no one knows about it, you're just going to kind of be there.
Yep, and Steam has acknowledged that there are issues with the platform and that they're working on it. For example, Chumpus regionally was recently, last night, I believe, or was it this morning, Steam was pushing a game on you, right? It was like pushing this game, and it wasn't very popular. But Steam was pushing it because it felt like it was a game that was in your field of interest. I've
Yes,
noticed the same thing with myself, and that's from their new changes. Steam's pushing a lot of titles I've never heard of. I'm like, what? This has been out forever, and I've never heard of it. But it's pushing games that are like, that technically when I look at it, I'm like, okay, it is in my field of interest. It may not still be for me, but it is trying to push games that are smaller as well as popular, and not just new releases, games that have been out for a while too. They are working on that, and Steam has mentioned that is one of their issues, is that, and so is indies. I know other indies talk about this too, where you release your game, you have a certain window to release it, and if Steam doesn't push it, you're fucked. Rip. And that's the reality. Steam is aware of that, and Steam is attempting to work on it. And I know that's not any consolation for those who have already released, right? I know. But the reality is that there's no real perfect solution to this. It's like trying to find the best compromise that pushes the game enough so that people can get some exposure with their game. Because there are hundreds of thousands, right? It's 100,000 games on Steam now in total. It's got to be hundreds of thousands by now.
There's an obscene. I'll just Google it.
19,000
Yeah,
games
it's
came out
accurate.
last year alone.
Yeah, it is a stupid number. How many games are coming out each year now?
Now, some games disappear from Steam Store, but usually the number is going generally up, not down.
Yeah, that number doesn't seem right to me. The number I just got was 122,000.
Okay, well, I mean, 122,000 is more than I was expecting. That might be right.
Oh god,
But that's a lot of video games.
God.
All right,
there's
news.
a Fallout sale on Steam. Disgusting.
Fallout 1
You
and
buy
2
one?
are fun stories, but I almost recommend watching movies of their stories rather than actually playing.
Oh, I opened up my Steam. I see Fallout 76 with the ghoul from the TV
Stupid
show.
TV show, yeah.
I hate what ghouls have turned into. And the
Same.
more I see of the new like Fallout show, the more belief I have in my opinion in that yeah, it is just lame. Because it used to be a thing where they were grotesque. And now, at this point, it's just like, oh, you just don't have a nose. Or maybe
Yep.
like you don't have hair. And then other than that, it just looks you have like a bad skin condition.
Mm.
And not like, oh, you can actually see half their jaw because the flesh was just
The
melting
rib
off.
cage is
All right.
very much visible.
I
Yeah,
think
no, yeah.
we've gone through all the Bunchcast subjects. I do want to talk about the Fallout TV show, but I'm kind of waiting for it to finish before we cover it
Yeah,
because
that's
I don't want to cover
I
it.
haven't yet.
I'm not a big
yeah.
fan of covering episodically because I think I'd rather blow up my brains. But
Yeah, no,
You know what would be
that's
funny, Chatfish? If you
that's what I'm
fund and force him to watch it.
Jet.
yeah,
They
no,
could
that's
do
that's
that.
why what I'm talking about is like this was even in the first season. They haven't changed the
If
design.
if
so.
Chatfish fund it, if Chatfish fund that, I'm warning you, Chat, that I'm going to be doing that as the after stream special hangout thing, and I'm going to make that a thing you have to do activity wise. So if that's something you
That's
want,
even funnier.
oh wow,
Actually, hold on, chat. Wait till we finish Chernobyl, then you can do that.
I don't finish Chernobyl that you could do. Fuck, Chatfish are Nazis. All right, so we'll be. I think this wraps up the Bunchcast. We'll be rating into Hardcore Classic, and then we'll be doing Stardew Valley after that. So it'll only be a couple hours of that. We'll be making Indio play it. It's going to be a nuts. It's probably going to go poorly. A lot of people are going to die, and it's not going to be my fault this time. The Kibbs is not a roach, right? We've confirmed this. It's
Guilty
doubt.
until proven innocent.
Chumpus isn't a roach, but Chumpus is a snake, is what Chumpus
Wait a
is.
minute.
Just like I
Smisco
haven't
Star
myself.
has a important question. How much?
How much? If Chatfish make Sunday's goal today, we'll watch an episode of it tonight.
Oh, that's so close.
There you
That's
go.
so close.
$240, chat.
Billy, he said Sunday's goal.
Yeah, look at that.
We're on
Look at that.
Sunday's goal. Stupid.
Like-
You see, my dyslexia hit. I thought it was 2241.
Wow.
you see hands, you're retarded.
All right, chat. We will see you in the
I
next
have
stream,
questions.
chat. Thank you for your generous
Goodbye.
donations, and we'll see you shortly in about 5 minutes.
Have a good